burgers, beer, sports.
They're not just a grocery store, they're a butcher.
Cloud has goals in back-to-back games. His second of the season scored in their victory in Winnipeg on Thursday. A chance in front, they score!
.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suit.
It's a drive.
Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Backed by popular demand, Fulton Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium. November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance, featuring Devin Brain from $1 Million Quartet and an all-star band. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and at the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights?
Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing Booster Mixer and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can you please turn the
He sends one the other. Oh, this is first of the playoffs, and it's 8-1 Seattle. They are feeling it.
Available now only at Booster Juice.
Jason Gregor Show.
Victory in Winnipeg on Thursday. A chance in front, they score! Matthias at home!
On Sports 1440.
He sends one the other way. Well struck ball, deep left field, and gone. Raleigh's first of the playoffs, and it's 8-1 Seattle. They are feeling it.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's the drive down the line. It's this moment. It's time.
Well, a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, Sports 1440, YouTube, X, Instagram. We love it. Lots of places for you to watch and digest the show because there is lots and lots to discuss today. And man, do we got a loaded lineup. We're talking NHL, of course. The league officially began last night with 3 games. The defending champs raise their banner. They win, no surprise, against the lowly Chicago Blackhawks. Colorado comes out hitting. Man, did you see Josh Manson railroad Warren Fogle? And they win 4-1. Kings going back-to-back in the first 2 days of the season. Probably not ideal for them. They'll take on Vegas. Tonight, meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Penguins win 3-0 with 2 empty net goals in a rather low-scoring game. Mike Sullivan not getting much offense from his Rangers first game. But remember, the Rangers last year had a great start, first 15 games, and then absolutely tanked it the rest of the way. So we shall see how the season goes. Of course, we got lots to discuss tonight. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the Calgary Flames. This, of course, will be the Oilers are 5-5 in the 10 years for McDavid in season openers, but they're 2-0 against the Flames. Both wins coming in Edmonton, but they haven't. Those happened back in October of 16 and October of 2017. It was a 7-4 win and then a 3-0 win. The 3-0 win was when McDavid had a hat trick. So it's at 6 points. Openers, 2 games against the Calgary Flames. Might be a decent chance that McDavid has a solid performance tonight. We shall see. You can get involved in the show. You can text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. 40. Also, the show is presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50, make a $50 deposit, and they'll match you. Give you another 50 bones. So it's a pretty good deal at PlayAlberta.ca. Also today, Matthias Ekholm. We've been talking about this for a while. Matthias Ekholm, what did I say? He's going to sign a multi-year deal around $4 million, and he actually got it right at $4 million. So he gets a 3-year extension for him. So the Oilers have McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard, Ekholm, Wallman, Nurse, all under contract for the next 3 seasons. Throw in Podkolzin in that category as well. Matthew Savoy, of course, in the second year of his entry-level deal. They got a lot of guys signed moving forward. They'll have lots of cap space to do some things. I think a scoring winger is definitely something they'd be interested in. And then, of course, there's the potential of what they'll do in goal. And I'll say this, if Stuart Skinner has a season like he had in 2024, I don't think Stuart Skinner's going anywhere, but we shall see. Coming up on the show today, we have Mike Rupp's going to join us right off the top. Stan Bowman, Oilers GM, will join us at 2:20. We also have the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. We'll talk some Jays later on and Oilers. Your Remchuck's by. We got 5 questions. The business of sports with Rich Winter returns today. So he will join us in studio at 4 o'clock. Then we got Spec, Derek Willis to give us the Flames side of things. So a busy show today, as we should. Talking lots of hockey, lots of MLB playoffs. The Jays losing last night. Man, they were up looking real good. And then kind of like in game 2, their bullpen couldn't get many outs. And that concept have they announced officially like it's a bull? I know there's all the talk about a bullpen start because I was reading up in the rules and I thought they could put a pitcher on the injured list and they could have then activated one of their starters, but I haven't seen that happen. So I guess it's not going to happen. And we'll see there. But there's, the Jays last night. Hey, the Yankees weren't going to just roll over. The Jays got to come in, and that was a rare defensive nightmare game for the Jays. Like, look at the defensive play in the first inning. You know what? They don't have to give up a run there. Then you look at Barger, and I get the wind was blowing, but still, the ball's there. It's in your glove. You got to catch it. Vladdy Guerrero's usually a Gold Glover first baseman. That one went through him. Like, that wasn't that was probably the worst defensive game I've seen the Jays play in like 5 months. They're one of the best defensive teams. So that to me is a one-off. I think they'll get back on track defensively, and that will help them in lots of other areas of their game. Let's get right to it. Let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical in their 53rd year, and they continue to grow and expand, and they're hiring. They're looking for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year electricians. So you got the schooling, got some dedication, you want to work for a great company, send your resume, careers@actionelectrical.net. As we welcome to the show from the NHL Network, our regular Wednesday contributor, former NHLer Mike Rupp joins us. Rupper, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Greggs. How you doing, buddy? One night in National Hockey League season. It's an exciting time, but I heard you talking baseball. I know a lot of people are following that. Exciting time in sports right now. I like it.
Oh, buddy, October's an amazing month. Yeah. I love it. That football's going on, baseball, hockey, basketball's right around the corner. It's freaking awesome. What did you make of last night? Because I actually thought now I know it's one game, and the Rangers started great last year and then hit the ditch. But my goodness, for their head coach, that was not a great debut for the new look Rangers.
No, it was not. It was not. It's going to take some time. I don't know what the end product looks like. Nobody does. I'm going to use Brian Boyle, who I work with here at NHL Network, says this of Mike Sullivan. I had Sully as an assistant coach. Obviously, I've worked with the Pittsburgh Penguins broadcast team over the last few years or number of years while he's been in Pittsburgh. So I got a good grasp on what he is and who he is as a coach. But Brian Boyle had him as a head coach. And he brings up this great point, and it's so true as Sully is a head coach. He is one way and one way only. You can go on a 3-game win streak, 3-game lose streak. He's going to be consistent. So there's no panic there. You might get booed at MSG. That's New York. That's New York for you, right? Like, they're going to let you know right off the hop. But he's going to sit there and be like, it doesn't need to be said. That was not a good game. Nobody looked overly good. I guess the bright spot would be Mika Zibanejad, I thought, had some legs, looked good, and I think that's a huge piece for them. And I thought Igor looked pretty solid in net. But I mean, it's one of those games that I think you were expecting something to happen, didn't happen, not the end of the world. But yeah, definitely, I would be disappointed if I was a fan because it wasn't a good first game, especially the home opener for the New York Rangers.
No, not good at all. The Panthers get the win, kind of expected against Chicago, and then you have Colorado against the Los Angeles Kings. And we had to do it, Rupp, because, you have to pick some. LA was my pick of a team that made 100 points last year not to make the play. And, last night, nothing changed. I know it's only one game, but, man, the Kings, my concern is they got a lot older in free agency, and they weren't the quickest team to begin with. So it's early on, but, man, talk about a tough sked. You played, like, your first 2 regular season games are back-to-back. That's probably not ideal for the Kings, is it?
Yeah, tough matchups too. So that certainly hurts. Yeah, I don't know what to make of them because I thought that they're a team. I agree on all those things you just mentioned, and I think losing Gavrikov is a huge hole. We were kind of talking about it yesterday, where say Gavrikov, for an example, who had a rough game 1 for the Rangers, but he will be fine. He was so good defensively for LA, but let's not forget he was phenomenal for Columbus Blue Jackets before he went there. So that's who he is. So I guess the point I want to make is LA was one of the best defensive teams in the league last year. Now, it was not the team structure, I think, that made Gavrikov better. I think he helped them to become a top-end defensive team. Now, you cut him out, that's a huge loss. And this is a team now, I don't think they're going to score a ton of goals. I agree with you. They're getting older. I still think their structure should carry them quite a bit, but they don't really scare anybody, I believe. So it's a tough first matchups. When you get those matchups, you got Colorado, then Vegas, like you said, back-to-back nights. But I'm curious to see in that division what this team could be, because I truly believe that structure will give them a chance to win every single night. Now, can they pull some rabbits out of the hat on other nights? We'll have to see. But I think that Gavrikov loss they're gonna feel that all season long.
Yeah, I would agree. Mike Rupp joins us here on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Rupper, what did you make of the Connor McDavid contract extension?
Man, that was awesome. I mean, I thought it was awesome. I didn't see that coming. Not that I didn't see a discount. I guess I didn't see that big of one. And maybe that's because we just talked about the Kaprizov signing recently and where you thought, and where, quite frankly, we all know what he could do. He could have demanded a max contract. Like, if there's someone that could get it and ask for it, it's him. I love it. I love it. And I think the Ekholm one kind of screams the same way. You follow suit. The leader, he's a captain for a reason, and he kind of set the standard. So I'm really excited to see this team. I think it was an intriguing story before this, what it's going to look like. I didn't think he was going to leave. I thought there was going to be some sort of probably shorter term contract, and I'm curious to see how they get better, because I think there's areas that they can get better, but they've been so close the last 2 years. But him setting that standard. And now Ekholm, who, if he hit the open market, he would get paid. I know he's older.
I don't know if I agree. Mike, you might have muted yourself, Rupper.
Next 3 years. I'd love to see how they handle it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. Am I?
Yeah, no, you're back on now, and it kind of went away, but it's come back. So that's good. Ekholm, for 3 years at $4 million in the new salary cap world.
Yeah.
And he talked about it. He loved Edmonton. His family loves Edmonton. He's made a lot of money. And I had a really interesting conversation today with Adam Henrique, who's, he's a pending UFA in Edmonton. And he signed, last summer for a 2-year deal, and probably could have got more in the open market. And he said, and I love what he said. He goes, when I was a kid, and I was, I'm playing, I wasn't dreaming about, I want to make as much money as I can. I dreamt about winning the Stanley Cup. And if you get to it, he goes, I was lucky. I got to make, some pretty good money early in my career, but there were some years in Anaheim we weren't very good. And it was hard. Like, it was hard to show up every day when you knew you didn't have a chance. And sometimes I think get talked about enough. And he said, you know what? So I look and say, at the end, could I have made a little bit more money? Sure. But I'm lucky enough that I'm not really going to miss it. And the opportunity, even if you don't win, the opportunity to be in the mix to win is worth more?
It's everything. I mean, it's everything. I mean, you can only speak from experience as a player. I mean, I was a guy that didn't make a ton of money as far as year to year in the National Hockey League. Probably played most of my career hovering around that league minimum. And you get an opportunity to become a free agent, and it's exciting. You know, you're going to get a bump in pay. But I learned early on in my career, like I was on teams that made the playoffs every year. So you get to free agency, and there was teams out there, and I'm sure people can guess maybe some of the teams. They're not maybe the most desirable places. They were offering the most money, and they wanted to sign you to a 3-year deal for me. And it's like, I want to be in the playoffs. That's all I knew. That's all I wanted. And so I guess my point is, even guys that don't make a ton, like, that matters. That's what I dreamt about as a kid, is competing for a Stanley Cup. So I respect the heck out of that. When guys do that, make some sacrifices in that way. And some people might roll their eyes saying sacrifice. You're talking about millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, not everybody does that, and that's fine. But there's something to be said when guys do it, and it kind of makes you root for those guys to get that taste of winning the Stanley Cup.
Mike Grubb joins us. Rupper, a few weeks ago, Kaprizov, McDavid, Kyle Connor, and Jack Eichel were all pending UFAs, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, they're going to leave. Guess what? They all signed. Jack Eichel, according to Darren Dreger, has signed an 8-year extension in Vegas. Kaprizov signed long-term. Kyle Connor signed long-term. Now, McDavid only signed 2 years, but they all signed. And with the cap going up, it seems most players would rather – they're all going to make a lot of money, so they'd rather stick with what you know.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. While you're saying that too, it's like, how does Vegas always find this money? It's wild to me, but nonetheless, they do. But Jack was able to experience something there, and I think that when you find certain fits, and you sit there and you're like, hey, this works for me. I like it here. I mean, I don't even go as far as, let's even go to Winnipeg. Winning matters. Contending matters. And those guys that have signed there, Connor Halley extending there, when Mark Scheifele extended there, Kyle Connor extending there, you can say what you want. They're there because they want to win and they want to compete. And that team has created that culture. So the grass isn't always greener, and chasing things and being comfortable, your family being comfortable, that allows you to play better. And so these guys, I mean, Jack Eichel, he experienced some good years in this league, even in Buffalo, maybe some good times, some bad times that he doesn't want to revisit and not making the playoffs every year. And he gets the opportunity to be on one of the most competitive teams in the league year in, year out. So yeah, I think there's a lot of value in that. And again, I want to say there's nothing wrong with guys who want to be mercenaries and chase the dollar. I'm totally fine with that too. But it's everybody's cup of tea, and the grass isn't always greener.
Oh God, no, it definitely isn't. Lastly, Rupper, as we start another season, and I know we've talked about teams that we think are going to do well and teams we think might take a step back. Obviously, there's the injury factor. How much do you think the Olympics will play in for some players? And obviously, it's a motivation. Do you think that motivation can be good, or can guys start? If you think too much about the Olympics while you're playing in November, December, and wanting to make the team, could that negatively impact how you play on a night-to-night basis?
Are you saying, as far as, are you saying like resting or just kind of pacing yourself, or what do you?
So like guys who are like, I really want to make the Olympic team.
Yeah,
so
okay,
yeah. Oh, what they're, let's say, hey, like Evan Bouchard, for instance, he's like, hey man, I'd like to get in the mix for the Olympic team. And so it can be, I guess it can go two ways. It can go a good way because maybe like, hey, I know what I need to do. But at the same time, it can maybe have your focus not on the game itself. What do you think?
No, I agree with that. I mean, everybody handles pressure in a different way, and it's good to put that kind of pressure on yourself. And you want to have a big first half because of the Olympics. And I always I get excited for that because I think that's like a dangling carrot here for some of these guys. I mean, I sit there, perfect example. I thought had some flashes in the game last night in Chicago, or for Chicago, and Connor Bedard. So he was all 4 nations, we know, was not at orientation camp for Team Canada. most likely he's not going to be on that team, but I think there's still an option. It's still available there if you have a big first half. And I'd like to see how this drives guys, because these guys, I mean, we're talking Olympics, you're talking the best of the best, and they're competitive and they want to be mentioned with the best, and when they don't, they feel slighted, and they usually bounce back in some way. But yeah, I could see that happening where maybe guys press a little bit. I got to have a good first half. I'm on the radar here for Team USA or Team Canada or whatever nation. I've got to make it happen here. So I'm sure that there's conversations being had with their respective NHL teams, coaches, that are like, hey, settle down, relax, like we're good. I think that's a lot of external pressure. So it's an exciting time. I bet you it's pretty stressful for some of these guys too.
Oh, definitely. Rupper, great stuff, man. Enjoy the hockey and the baseball tonight.
Yes, sounds good, buddy. We'll chat later.
You betcha. That's Mike Rupp joins us every Wednesday here on Sports 1440. Quick break. We'll come back. The GM of the Oilers, Stan Bowman, who has been signing a lot of contracts. We'll discuss that and the upcoming season on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium. November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance, featuring Devin Brain from $1 Million Quartet and an all-star band. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and at the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on Sports 1440, busy Wednesday afternoon. We already got playoff baseball going on as the Detroit Tigers, they need a win as they take on Seattle today. The Jays, of course, later on are in New York for Game 4 against the New York Yankees. Yanks got back in the series last night with a win. In between that, you got Milwaukee on the road in Chicago looking to sweep the Cubbies in the late game tonight. Has the Dodgers at home looking to get the brooms out and sweep the Phillies. So busy day there. Also in the National Hockey League, Lots of season openers tonight for many teams, including the Edmonton Oilers, as they host the Calgary Flames. And the Oilers are looking to get off to a better start. A lot of their players and coach have talked about they want a better start. The last two seasons, here's the thing. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. They lost 8-1 and 6-0 in their two season openers, but made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. So we'll see. I'm guessing they can have a better start than they've had the last two seasons for sure. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. If you're looking for exciting BCHL action, a better place to go than the Thompson Arena. Brand new. It's an unreal facility, and you can get your tickets at sgsaints.ca. As we're joined by a gentleman who's been very busy the last few weeks, signing contract extensions for many of his top players. Oilers GM Stan Bowman joins us. Stan, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Doing great. Jason, how are you doing?
Well, I'm good. Now, here's the thing, Stan. As good as the last week of contract signings has been for you, it probably wasn't as good as the golf game you had at the Glendale in early September.
I know. We were the champs that day, so that was a fun day, and we lit it up. So happy you were part of that. That was cool.
That was a lot of fun. I'd never been on a scramble team where we're at 11 under through 9 holes. So
we were on fire. Everyone contributed too. Elliot was in it, and Jeff, yourself. It was great.
So I remember talking to that day because people were, he can't sign anybody till McDavid signs, and obviously that's not the case. You talked about a little bit that you never really talked numbers with Connor before. It was all about kind of what the vision was that you had, and that's obviously a very unique situation. When ultimately they came up with that number and said, "This is what we want to sign for." Like, how surprised were you that there was no increase at all?
I was really surprised. I mean, I didn't have any idea that was going to be the case. I mean, I know Connor, and I know that money is not the factor for him, but I certainly expected to be more than that. So pleasantly surprised at that. But you're right. When we were having our conversations leading up to that day, it was never about money at all or term or anything. It was just about, where we're at now, where we're headed, how we think we can compete, and what's the plan going forward to remain competitive. So I think we saw that when it came out, finalized, that it was a 12.5. That was a very low number, and I was shocked.
And, Matthias Ekholm, I know you'd be negotiating with him, Jake Wallman, head coach Chris Knobloch. You've got your core, Stan, set up. And obviously in a cap world, you've got a lot of flexibility over the next 3 seasons when you look at cap space and what you can do. I know some people have said, there's clock is ticking yet. I don't necessarily agree with that per se, because I think, the clock was ticking for the last few seasons as Connor only had 2 years left on his deal. Does the short-term deal ultimately change that much in your eyes and how you want to plan or build the team?
No, I don't think so at all. And like you said, I've only been here 1 year, but when I came here, it was because I wanted to win. I wasn't coming here just to have a job. I think it was, I've been fortunate enough to be on teams that were able to go all the way and close it out. And I know how special that is, and I know how close, we've been here. So I think the focus for me since day one was coming here to win. So nothing changes from that perspective. It's not a change at all. It's so the term of it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the way that we're going to operate the next few years.
When you look at your team now and you build, because obviously, Ekholm is a 4-year. I look at all your guys are here at least 3 years minimum. And you've built teams before, but how much can it change from year to year when, you kind of project what we think is going to happen and then something changes? Are you pretty confident because all the guys you have signed are your core, I guess, except for goaltending? You have your top 4 defensemen signed. You've got your top 2 centers. You got your, 2 other top 6 wingers. So you've got your core pieces all together. Is it easier then to just fill out the rest, or is there no guarantee either way in your experience that having your core is going to make things, quote, easier?
Well, I think you have to have a plan, which we do, but then you also have to be willing to pivot if the circumstances dictate that that plan's not working. So I think, I like where we're positioned because we have some, comfort in players that we know are good players. Like, that's the biggest thing is how does it all fit together? I mean, the results will tell that story for us. But I feel much better than in a different position is if we didn't have any certainty with what our defense was going to look like next year. If it was like no idea who we were going to have, like that's a much harder picture to put together, in a short amount of time. So I think we have stability, and with that though is going to be, we just don't know what we don't know. Like, time will tell how things play out, and you have to be willing to pivot from things if for whatever reason it isn't working. But I feel much better now than I did even say a week ago, because we've gotten some important pieces coming back, and including the coach and defenseman and Connor. You have to certainly, it takes more than that to win. But I like where we're at, and I think it gives us a chance to be flexible moving forward.
Stan Bowman, general manager of the Edmonton Oilers, joins us. Stan, the goal now is obviously to let some of the young guys get more comfortable. Savoy, Howard, Regula would be another one. I think Podkolzin's still young. Ty Emberson is still young. David Tomasic is, I guess, I don't think he's old at 29, but he's young as an NHL player. How patient do you have to be with young guys to give them time to get comfortable at the NHL level?
Yeah, there's an element of that. It's always a balancing act between, results matter. And we talked about wanting to get off to a good start. So with that comes the need to win games. But I think I've said a few different times that the thing that's exciting about this season is that we have a number of players you just mentioned who are going to show some growth in their game, hopefully. You can even throw Noah Philp in that category because he's not super young, but he doesn't have a lot of NHL experience. So when you have players like that are either young, early 20s or new to the NHL, you're hoping that they're going to be able to grow their game over a number of months. And I don't know how quickly it's not going to happen for all of them right away, as much as I would love that. Just being a realist, knowing that it's going to be different levels. And, hopefully we don't need all of them to be great right away, but we need all of them to have a chance to progress over the next few months. But hopefully in that time period, your team's playing well, and, you're not going to have them costing you games. So it's a balancing act, but I do think it's exciting to think about where our team could be if we're able to give those players a chance, let them gain some confidence, grow their game, become better versions of themselves over the next few months. That's where in the second half you could have the same lineup, same players, but a better version of your team. And I think that's how teams, get better and ultimately win championships.
What about a guy like Kasperi Kapanen? When I watch practice, I can make a strong argument. I think he might be the most naturally skilled forward after McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, the guy does everything. He's an unreal skater, great shot. I talked to Kasperi. He admitted consistency is probably a reason why he's bounced around a little bit. But man, he's come in and looked great. Stan, I know when you claimed him off the waiver wire, like, was part of it because you saw the skill level there? It was just, the consistency is probably why he was on waivers.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. Obviously, Cappy's got so much ability. Like you said, I've said the same thing. If you just came and watched the practice, you didn't know who anybody was, but you did know hockey, you'd be like, that guy's one of the best players on this team. Look at him. He can really shoot the puck. He's fast, big. He's got great hands. He does everything. So it's all there for him. It's just kind of putting it together on a consistent basis. And we saw flashes of greatness from him last year. And I think it's just finding a way to, he sometimes gets in his own way a little bit. So trying to unlock that to get him to be more consistent. But I've been happy with how he looks, and we're hoping that that's the case. So when he was on waivers last year, yeah, you're looking at this guy's a talented player. He was a high pick for a reason. Like at one point, he was one of the top kids in the draft. So like that's in him. Can we find a way to tap into it? And I think we have. And now we want to try to get it on a more consistent basis. But I like the way he's looked so far to start this year.
Stan Bowman joins us. Stan, you have Janmark and Hyman injured. Hyman's obviously out for the whole month on LTIR. He's got to be out 10 games or 24 days, which gets us to November 1st. And Janmark is right now out a week, maybe 2 weeks. When they come back, obviously someone from the roster is going to have to go down, just the numbers. A guy like Ike Howard, who's first-year professional hockey, it's a real big jump. Where do you balance out on how much ice time he needs to be here before you say he's got to go to the AHL?
Yeah, I mean that's true. We are going to have to figure out we've been talking about that internally here with our current roster and where it's headed. So if nothing changes, no one else gets injured, then that's true. When these guys come back, we're going to have to figure that out. But I think a lot can happen between then, whether it's certain players play well, play poorly, other players get injured. So I've learned a long time ago, you try not to predict until you don't make a decision until you have to make one. So for Ike in particular, and Savoy is kind of in the same boat, and those are the two younger players. Savoy's had a really good season as a pro already. Those two guys are the same age, but Ike did it in college last year where Savoy was in the American League. So you're right. It's a balance trying to, help a player adapt to professionals. It's different than college, for sure. Like I think that jump from college or junior to the NHL is a big jump. And, some guys can do it seamlessly. Some guys doesn't take too long until they can kind of recalibrate their game. Because the biggest thing is your role changes from where you were the year before. In Savoy's case, he was in junior and he was a top offensive player. But your role changes and you got to sort of adapt. Like, how can I find my role in the professional game? So for Ike, he was like the best player at Michigan State last year. He scored a ton of goals on every power play. He's getting a lot of touches. Now he's not going to have that role, but can he still learn to be a useful player? And, he's got that knack for scoring. So there's nothing wrong with a guy, in a lesser role, putting the puck in the net. I think that's going to help our team if he can find his game and, learn how to be an effective two-way player. So that's the question. Can he do that in a different role at the NHL level? We don't know. I mean, we're going to find out and we're going to monitor it. And, we know he's going to be a good player. Like he and Savoy both they've got a lot of potential. They've got a lot of talent. They're super coachable, great attitude. Like they're going to be players. It's just, we don't know the timeline and we don't have to figure that out right now. We'll see what unfolds in the coming weeks.
Stan Bowman joins us. And Stan, as you want to get your team better, you got some young players, and I like how you said you hope that the second half version of your team naturally internally can improve, but obviously externally. And we've seen this organization. You guys are looking to win, and it's funny. Brett Kulak, I know it was before your time, but Matthias Ekholm, Trent Frederick, Jake Wallman, lots of guys you acquire at the deadline. They're not just rentals. They've signed extensions. They like playing here. Adam Henrique would be another one that you put in that category. As your approach to the deadline, do you notice, like, because your team is so dominant and you've got McDavid and Draisaitl, the interest level from lots of players around the league, like Jake Wallman said when he heard he got traded to Edmonton, he was ecstatic. He didn't know where he's going, but he's like, oh, it's Edmonton. He's like, unreal. You must have felt that way before in Chicago. Can you use that to your advantage in negotiations?
Well, for sure. I think it matters a lot to have an environment where players like to play. And at the end of the day, what I like about our sport of hockey is these guys are super competitive and they play to win. Of course, money matters. I'm not going to be naive to say it doesn't. But I do think that we offer something here that it isn't everywhere, which is, a legitimate chance to be a winning team, and you get to play with some real special players that are extremely focused and motivated by winning, and not by money, but by winning and the ability. So I think that's attractive. And I'm not saying we're the only team that's the case. There's other teams the same thing, but I think we offer a unique set of circumstances. So when a player comes out here, a new player, and I think Frederick's a good example. Like, he's an American kid who played in Boston, and then he comes up to Edmonton, probably doesn't know a lot about it. Maybe he's played a couple games here his whole career. And all of a sudden, fast forward a couple months, and he's really excited about staying and making this, a long-term home. I think that's a great sign for a lot of things. And, whether it's the coaching staff, it's the support from the fans and the excitement for our team, the facility we have, the teammates they're with, you add all that up. And like I said, players want to win. They want to experience success at a team level as well as individual. But I think it's a great situation that we have, and we want to continue that going forward.
Stan, you've signed lots of guys, McDavid, Wallman, Ekholm, Podkolzin, and all guys who are eligible for extensions. You got Stuart Skinner and Brett Kulak, but Stuart Skinner in the goal to Stuart Skinner's 2024 season, he was really good. I know he had 2 bad games against Vancouver people didn't like, but it's like they overlooked the other 71 games that he played that year down the stretch into the playoffs. He's really solid. What do you need from Skinner? Where are those negotiations at? And then similarly with Kulak.
Yeah, I mean, with Skinner, I think there's no question when he's on his game, like his best game is really good. And I think it's trying to find that consistency. That's what we're hoping to be able to tap into. And I think you're right. He's shown the ability to be consistent in the past. And we just, if we see the best version of himself on a regular basis, then it's going to be a huge boost to our team. So that's probably the biggest thing, is looking for that consistency, because we know he has the ability to be an elite goalie. And you're right, Kulak doesn't get a lot of attention because he sort of just goes about his job in an unassuming way, but he was a really effective player for us as well. So he is also in the last year of his deal, and same thing with Skinner. So I don't want to characterize where those things are going, but we've spoken internally about it as well, and just trying to find the right, combination of how it's going to look with our team and our team in the future. So there's nothing really to announce or report on that, other than we do like both players, and we know that they're going to help us be a really good team this season.
Stan, I appreciate it. You a baseball fan? Do you have a team?
I do. Probably not a popular one for the Canadian market, but I've always been a Yankees fan since I was a little kid. I went to see them in the World Series game back in the early 80s. And so that kind of hooked me on. They played the Dodgers that year. So I've been a Yankees fan my whole cheering life, but I know most of Canada is going for the Blue Jays, which I get.
Yeah, well, no, it should be a good series. Now, did you ever? There are teams. I know some teams have taken BP at certain places. Has your team ever taken BP anywhere?
Yeah, when we were in Chicago, we did that both we had 2 teams there, right? So the Cubs and the White Sox. So I never did myself. I played a lot as a kid, but I don't think I've swung a bat in 30 years. But I love baseball. It's a great game. I'm a fan of the sport, but so I know athletes love to get out there and swing the bat. So I don't know who would be good on our team. Do you know any of our guys play baseball?
Well, a lot of them. Ty Emberson. I asked these guys this last year, and Ty Emberson was a pretty good ball player growing up. Him and Stetcher, I think, are the 2 that felt like, you know what, we dominate in the cage. So I guess those are the 2 I remember talking to last year that were both fairly confident that they could hold their own in the baseball world. So it is.
Sure.
I've seen. I remember, the draft used to, depending on the city you were in, and they used to go to the draft and you'd see some young guys, and you could always tell the guys had never even. It's amazing, it can be a great hockey player, and some of these guys couldn't even swing a bat. It was, it was kind of surprising.
Or throw a ball.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah, like I was a pitcher, so I like. It's just funny watching some people who are great athletes, but they can't throw a pitch to save their life.
Awesome. Well, Stan, enjoy the season. Thanks for this as always, and we'll talk to you again soon. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jason. Bye-bye.
There you go. That is Stan Bowman, general manager for the Edmonton Oilers. So a pretty good rundown of where he's at in their mind for a lot of things. And I think his assessment of Skinner's pretty accurate. I know people, they only seem to want to look at the negative of Skinner. Like, Skinner's had some really good games. Consistency. It's the hardest thing to find. But if he can do it, like the 2024 season, you go look at, since Knobloch was hired, go look at his 50 regular season games, and then look at the 23 playoffs games. He had 2 bad games in the playoffs. Like, sure, you'll have an off night here or there. You think every forward on the team and defenseman has a great game all 73 times out? No. But he had 2 real stinkers, no question, in the postseason. But he bounced back. And that's what they'll need from him. So it's one, the Oilers have a lot of cap space for next season, and their core is already signed. That's the advantage that they have. Like, they got a lot of cap space to sign. They've got 6 defensemen already signed for next year, right? If you include Regula, Emberson, Nurse, Ekholm, Wallman, Bouchard, they're pretty set there. So Brett Kulak, never hurts having really good depth. And, we'll have to see, Emberson, Regula, kind of how they battle it out. There's obviously, there's going to be some injuries. Wallman's already missed at least 1 game, maybe a few more. We'll see. But up front, all their big guys are signed. But here's what makes it intriguing for the Oilers. I think they need a scoring winger. And now they've got cap space to go get one. Now, it's hard because you have to have assets to acquire them. That's the challenge. So, got to figure out a way to do that. Or maybe in free agency next year, although a lot of the big name guys, I think, are just going to stick on their team. Right? Alex Tuck, though, would be an interesting one. I know he's from the Buffalo area, and he says he loves it there. But as Adam Henrique, I thought very honestly mentioned today, it's a struggle at times when you're a veteran player and you're on a team that you just know isn't winning. And that's what Tuck, he loves Buffalo, but he's got no chance to win. And when he was in Vegas, he was on competitive teams. So I wonder about him. He would be a unique player to look for. And I don't think he's going to break the bank when it comes to what he'd signed for. And trust me, free agent wingers, looking at Edmonton, it's at the top of their list. Quick break. We'll return. It's the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Looking for an all-season vehicle with room for the hockey gear, comfort for the daily commute, and rugged capability for your weekend adventures? That's the all-new 2025 Jeep Compass, and you'll find it during the biggest sale of the year this month at St. Albert Dodge. Now, what can I say? It's a Jeep, it's a 4x4, and it's loaded with standard features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, keyless entry, and heated front seats, all starting from just $34,900. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder. With over $2 million raised for local charities and his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
It's an action-packed long weekend of Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place, starting Saturday afternoon against the Moose Jaw Warriors.
Then it's a Thanksgiving Monday matchup with the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
3 boxes of mac and cheese to use as noisemakers, then donate to Edmonton's food bank after the game.
And at every home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king size.
Edmonton, Moose Jaw, Saturday at 2 p.m.
Oil Kings, Hurricanes. Special holiday Monday noon puck drop.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 a seat at oilkings.ca.
Oodle Noodle origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Step into fall with Husqvarna and the Lawnmower Hospital. Husqvarna has chainsaws for the homeowner, farmer, rancher, or professional available in battery or gas-powered models. Take care of leaves quickly with the power of Husqvarna blowers. You'll find it all at the Lawnmower Hospital, and you can see the full selection at lawnmowerhosp.com.
We're more than repairs. We're more than mowers. The Lawnmower Hospital.
Tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen for myself.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent and non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$250. Welcome back. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as well as YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. It is game day. Oilers and the Flames. And it's also game day when it comes to Major League Baseball playoffs. And the Detroit Tigers have tied it up in the bottom of the fourth inning. It is now 3-3, and they got runner on first base. Crowd's going absolutely bananas, man. Baseball playoffs is awesome. You love it. I know. Hey, it's awesome. Win or lose. I'm sure last night Jays fans were loving the start, and then as the game went on, you're like, oof. When the big 3-run shot came, that from Judge probably was a little bit of a down moment for you, but hey, you're back watching it, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they pitch out of the bullpen. Now, anybody, I was trying to read, and I couldn't see anything that said, like, why couldn't they have went to Brule and said, okay, you know what, we're going to cut one of your fingers. You can make it a paper cut, whatever. Hey, guess what? This guy can't pitch. So you take him off the roster, which my understanding, the way I read the rules, it means you'd be ineligible for the ALCS. Well, I don't think they were going to take that many relievers, regardless if it's Seattle or Detroit anyway, because it's a best of 7. So you want 4 starters. So it would have come out anyway. And then you could activate one of your starters for the game tonight. Somebody follow the baseball rules close to me, but I'm looking and say, why isn't that an option? I don't get it. But who knows? Maybe someone says, wow, he doesn't have a cut on his finger. Well, how do you know how he cut his finger? Heck, you can get a paper cut. Anybody can get a paper cut. Happens all the time. Right? Look at some of the injury. Remember guys who tripped over their dog down the stairs? Legit injury. Right? How many guys? Who was it? Joe Sakic with the lawnmower, or no, the snowblower incident? Trust me, I'm a guy. We do dumb things at times. Somebody cutting their hand on an off day is not wildly out of the equation. You can come up with lots of reasons why. Like, we could have a whole show on the dumb injury that you've self-imposed on yourself, because we've all done it as guys. Right? Sometimes slamming your finger in the door of your car. It's happened. You always wonder, like, how the hell did I do that? But it's happened. I know I did it once. It was brutal. Just an idiot. Right in the parking lot. Ready to go out for the night. Ended up in the hospital. Had to get it all stitched up and fixed. And then it was just a huge bandage on your finger. It looked brutal. So it's happened. But I'm curious about that rule, Cons. Do you see anything that suggests they couldn't have done that?
So just looking quickly here, it says a team can petition the commissioner's office to replace an injured player with one from the organization who was with the organization on August 31st.
Exactly.
And was on an active injured
That's what
list.
I read.
So
active injury.
was on an active injured
So
list.
you couldn't just take off Scherzer and Bassett?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
That's the injury replacement rule. And then, like you said, the player would
So
be
it
ineligible for the next round.
Yeah, the guy who, I knew that part.
Mhm.
But somebody who's not on your, like if you have somebody who's injured and you petitioned for him, why can't you get anybody on? I don't think it has to come from your injured list, does it?
That's what the ruling I have has here. So I mean, maybe that's the way to keep it. Like, okay, some guy was injured and now they're good to go. You can bring them back, but
Yeah, but then you still got it. The other guy's got to be injured to come off. So
yeah. But like you said, that's always easy. Isn't it like way players stay out of training camp? Oh, my back hurts. It's not coming up on the X-ray, but trust me, it's sore.
yeah. Hey guys, that's literally me. I tripped on the dog, fell over, and fractured my hand from Greater Man. See? I told it. Hey guys, which pitcher cut off their finger flying a drone? Oh God, I don't know. Who is the NFLer? Unfortunately, lost fingers. The Giants, with the fireworks.
Jason Pierre-Paul,
JPP. So, oof.
It was a Trevor Bauer who had the drone incident.
Oh yeah,
it was just dripping blood during games.
Yeah,
it's nasty.
Guys, I got my thumb in a body grip trap as a trapper. Oh my God, Ryan. Yeah, that would hurt. That would hurt. Hey guys, true story. One of my buddies burnt himself because he tried to iron his shirt while it was on. Why? Because you thought it could save time. Oh my God. I laugh because I think that it's not a made up story. I totally agree. I could see someone doing it. Too funny. Hey, let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling Homes. No payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. Oh, we don't have it yet? What the hell, Tater? Oh, it was supposed to be here. Oof. Some lashes for Tater. Wow. Jeez. Okay. Well, you know what? Even better. We'll get to the sports update brought to you by Legacy Heating. Here's Connor Halley.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Some money being handed out today in the NHL. First, the Oilers signed a defenseman Mattias Ekholm a 3-year contract for $12 million. The 35-year-old blue liner heading into his 15th season in fourth with the Oilers. Winnipeg Jets signing forward Kyle Connor to an 8-year deal worth $96 million. And Jack Eichel staying in Vegas, 8-year extension with an AAV of $13.5 million. Of course, it is game day. The Oilers kicking off the season down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock with the Flames in town. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro gets going at 6 o'clock right here on Sports 1440. Also, the Maple Leafs hosting the Canadiens, Bruins in Washington, and those Golden Knights taking on the LA Kings. Major League Baseball playoffs rolling on. The Blue Jays looking to wrap up their series with the Yankees. First pitch, 5:08 from the Bronx. Right now, Tigers and Mariners tied at 3 apiece in the top of the 6th. Seattle can end this one with a win. Later on, Cubbies taking on the Brewers. Brewers up 2 games in that one, and the Dodgers can clinch their series with a win over the Phillies tonight just after 7 o'clock. And on the ice, WHL level, Oil Kings are in action down in Medicine Hat to take on the Tigers. That'll get going just after 7 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Oilers Nation's Tyler Yaremchuk, and here another edition of Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores close Friday to lower prices, then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals. The first 10 customers get $50 to spend on anything in store. Score free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, buy any TV or appliance, get a $50 credit to spend on furniture, decor, or mattresses. And take 5 years to pay with 0 interest on your Flexity card OAC. Terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440. After every game this season, tune in to Andrew Walker for the post-game show. Let's talk some hockey. Let's talk about the game on Sports 1440.
Mr. Rooter meets a ghost.
1 plunge, 2, and 3. A toilet clogged with a ghost? Man, I love plumbing. You're free now.
I will never find peace. The clog is fixed, yes, but I have never trusted the sump pump.
No problemo. I can fix that. Now go to the light, you little scamp.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. To resolve your unfinished plumbing business, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auctions are next Friday at 9 a.m., featuring a large selection of surplus municipal graders plus backhoes, dozers, wheel loaders, man lifts, skid steers, telehandlers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank. Plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products. 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, welcome back. Game day on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Of course, we go till 6, and then the pregame show with Walker and Paulson from 6 until 8, extended edition tonight, and again on Saturday when the Oilers host the Flames tonight, and the Canucks on Saturday. Then the Oilers jet out on a 5-game road trip in New York next Tuesday. The Islanders next Thursday, New Jersey next Friday. Then they're into Detroit, I think, on the Sunday, and wrap it up Tuesday in Ottawa. So a 5-gamer early on. Then they come home, and I think they're home for what, like 1 game against Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. So it is not. It's not an easy schedule by any stretch of the imagination for the Edmonton Oilers to start the season, but they're a good team, and the the challenge of having lots of games on the road early is that this year, for the first time ever in franchise history, all of their Eastern road trip games are done by the end of December. They don't have to go outside. The farthest they got to go is the Central Time Zone after that. That's a big advantage for them. Big advantage. And you wonder if, the people who study all the stuff and the effects of, just kind of adding up the fact that they don't have to go to the Eastern Time Zone unless they make to the Stanley Cup final again after, I think it's December 23rd, right before Christmas. So that's a good thing. Yeah, they're home for one game and then they're on the road in Seattle and Vancouver. So it's almost like an 8-gamer because you're playing in 8 different cities. 8-gamer because New York, New Jersey, Detroit, Ottawa, Edmonton, Seattle, Vancouver. Yowza. And then they got a little bit of a home stretch for a while, and then they're back on the road. They got a 7-game road trip in the middle of November. So be tough. Hey, they'll get some team bonding, as they say. Team bonding. Let's get to the oil report now, as I want to catch up with one of the new members of the Oilers, Matt Savoy, of course, local guy. And the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 15,000 vehicles at goauto.ca. They have over 2,800 new vehicle brands and 69 locations to choose from. Any vehicle, great prices, goauto.ca. Here's my conversation with Matt Savoy.
How much of those 4 games last year do you think help you coming in this season?
I think it just added a lot of familiarity with the guys, a lot more comfortability from my side. I think, I was pretty nervous coming in last year. A team with Stanley Cup aspirations, a lot of notable players, but I think just having relationships with the guys now, I can kind of just be myself and do me on a day-to-day basis. It's good.
What were your main focuses to work on in the offseason to improve?
I think just getting bigger and faster. To play at the NHL level, you need to stick out and bring something. I think my speed and my tenacity is something that I can bring every night. And I think, I worked on a lot this summer. I was on the ice a ton, getting bigger in the gym. So I'm excited to start the season here.
You talked about how much last year really helped you as a pro, right? You played in every situation. You played tons of minutes, penalty kill, power play, 5-on-5. And you come up here and coach has a lot of trust in you. You're going to be on the penalty kill. You're going to be on the second unit power play and, 5-on-5. Sometimes people want to rush to the NHL. That AHL season really seems to have set you up well.
Yeah, 100%. I think even from the start of the year in Bakersfield to the end of the year, I think I made huge strides just holding on to the puck more, being more confident with it. Making the reads a little bit quicker at the pro level. I think in junior, you have an extra couple seconds to get your head up and see, what the defenders are doing. But I think in pro, I thought I adjusted well last year, and I thought that year of Baco really did good for me. So, excited to kind of bring those things here and see what I can do here.
The veterans have talked about, the need to get some younger, faster guys in the lineup. And there's also that youthful exuberance. Like, you're a young guy, you're in the NHL. It's pretty damn exciting to, for a first time. How do you sense that? Do you feel that, they're welcoming yourself? Howard Tomasic, I know, isn't a rookie, Regula, but lots of guys with not a lot of NHL experience.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's a lot of new faces in this year, and I think it's just exciting. I think it's exciting for the guys to kind of, get out of the comfort zone and kind of hang out with new guys. And me and Ike went over to Connor's for dinner about a week ago, so it was good. He kind of, extended that invitation to us. So just little things like that. I mean, they've been so inclusive and welcoming to the young guys, and I know for me, it's just like I just want to be here every single day and have fun every day and work hard every day. So just being in the NHL, it's been a treat so far, and looking to build off it.
Now, what's your plan? You have your own place. You're living downtown. I know you could live at home and have home cooked meals still. What's the plan there?
Yeah, I haven't fully decided yet. Maybe look to move in somewhere somewhat soon here, but I haven't really thought about it. I'm at home right now, so still getting some home cooked meals every now and then. It's been nice, but no, eventually might try to look into getting my own place. We'll see.
Having your family around, just that comfort level, that's a pretty unique special opportunity to have. Obviously your parents, they've watched you grow up all the time, but it's a little bit different. Mom and dad in the crowd every night when you're playing the NHL.
Yeah, 100%. I think, they've been such good support systems for me, like just to lean on to and talk about anything, aside from hockey. I think when I get home, they do a pretty good job, just keeping it light and not, asking too many like Oilers questions or stuff like that. Cause it can get a bit repetitive in this city, but no, it's good. My friends are good too. Like obviously all of them grew up Oilers fans. So it's pretty special to have them kind of watch me and support me in that way.
I was going to say, when you have your close group of guy buddies, it's just a thrill. They're probably more excited than you are to see you there and trying to figure out which games they're going to get to and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. I think, they're all getting together tonight to watch the game. And a lot of buzz in the group chat just about how excited they are for the season to start. And they're always talking Oilers stuff. So it's kind of just fun for me to sit back and kind of just see it all from the inside of the friend group. And it's been fun so far.
So now you look to the season. You're going to start tonight with Nugent Hopkins and Mangiapane. Obviously a quick line. We haven't played a ton with them together. What's your initial thoughts on how your line can have success?
Yeah, I think we all think the game well. We all have good hockey sense, I think, in that sense. And I think in practice so far, we've been moving the puck really well. I don't think any guy wants to hold on to it, particularly too long. So I think darting into areas, finding space, working the cycle game a little bit with our speed will be big for us.
You're also going to be on the penalty kill. Now, you weren't here last year on it, so it's not necessarily a big change for you, but the system is different. And Chris Knobloch mentioned that he feels the defense, it's not as much of a change, but it is for the forwards from what they did. How important is it for you and that whole group to get off to a good start on the penalty kill? What do you think the keys are for you guys to have success?
Yeah, it's huge. We've obviously done a lot of prep in the preseason, gone through a lot of video, done a lot of work in the game. So I think we're in a good spot right now where we know our triggers, we know kind of our system, and we're dialed into it. So I think getting off to a huge start is going to be big for us.
There you go, Matt Savoy, who's having the time of his life, still living at home. I'm sure his parents are loving that. Eventually he'll move out, but for the time being, it's a good thing for him. The opportunity to get some home cooked meal and just have some comfort. And as he says, hey, we're not talking hockey all the time. And more so though, having your buddies around, like what a thrill that is. Guys you grew up with, and they see for the team that they cheer for, and suddenly one of their good buddies is playing for it. Yeah, that'll be a fun time for everybody involved. Another guy making his NHL debut tonight, of course, Savoy. This will be his 6th NHL game. He's a veteran compared to Ike Howard, but Ike Howard got to catch up with him briefly on the morning of his first NHL game.
Obviously, Thomas Eck's first game as well, so it'll be fun to share that experience with him. And Rico's just a vet. He's been around. Obviously, played a ton of games. Still's very sharp out there. Could skate well. So I'll be excited, and I think we'll click well.
From my perspective, it looks like you've looked more comfortable as camp's gone on. Sometimes guys come in and they look good early because there's not as many NHL guys, and then the later preseason games that get started, you've kind of gotten the opposite. Do you feel like you've gotten more comfortable as camp's progressed now into the regular season tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I think just getting more comfortable in different spaces and different systems and different players and stuff. I think as I've gone on throughout camp, I've just felt better, more comfortable, and even the other teams kind of sent out better lineups and stuff. I just feel like the game gets more structured and can almost be more predictable at times too, a little less chaotic. So
do you have mom and dad coming in for tonight?
Yep, they're here. 2 of my brothers are here, grandparents, and my girlfriend and her family. So it'll be fun.
One of his brothers isn't here tonight because he had to work, but he is coming in for the Saturday game. So Howard's family's been here since yesterday. And tomorrow's actually a scheduled day off for the Edmonton owners. So he'll get to spend the whole day with his family. It was asking places to go, some things to do. So recommended, man, you got to get down to the River Valley. It's a great place to tour around if you have some time. So grandparents, parents, siblings, girlfriend, her family. So he'll have a huge cheering crowd tonight for the Howard clan coming in to watch his first game. And here's another stat that I just found really fun, and I wanted to track down Adam Henrique to discuss it. Here's the conversation I had with Adam Henrique. Listen in on his 2 line mates and the differences between him and them tonight.
you're playing game 994 tonight. Your line mates are playing game number 1 each.
Yeah.
So, and they're different age, of course. Tomazic's not a rookie.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean, he's 29 years old coming in playing his first game, but I think that's amazing. And everybody's stories to get to the NHL is a little bit different. It takes different twists and turns, and then you got Howie on the other side, who's just coming off college, coming in and like a young kid playing his first game. So it's kind of funny to think about the games I'm at and what they're at, but I think it's the same level of excitement. You're still like that. It's like Christmas Eve coming in, and you still get that little bit of nerves coming in, that first game, that first shift, like everything that kind of goes with it. Starting at home too is always great in front of our fans. So it still really does give you that fire inside to play and to compete. And whether it's 994 to game 1, it feels like it hasn't changed.
And so if you look at Henrique and barring an injury, he's going to play his 1,000th game of his career in Ottawa, is his home province. So that could be a huge thrill for him later on this month. So, man, he'll be in game 1,000 earlier on, which is he'll be the 40th active player to play game 1,000 in his career. Later on this year, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins should also reach the 1,000 game played mark. And Nugent-Hopkins, actually, if he plays 79 games this season, he will pass Kevin Lowe for most games played in Oilers franchise history. So something to watch for. Pretty big milestone for Nugent-Hopkins. Also, Leon Draisaitl, if you're looking for other milestones tonight, Draisaitl, he needs 1 goal to get to 400. Obviously, would be the first German player ever to reach 400. He needs 44 points to get to 1,000 later on this season. Both seem inevitable. Like, would anybody be surprised if Draisaitl scores a goal tonight and gets to goal number 400 in his career? Connor McDavid needs 18 points to get to 1,100 in his career, and he's on pace to be the 3rd quickest to do it, behind only Gretzky and Lemieux, similar to how he was at 1,000 points. And really, he'll probably for the rest of his career, he'll be the 3rd quickest to 1,200, the 3rd quickest to 13. And for the only one is he could be the 2nd quickest to 1,800 because Mario Lemieux never got to 1,800 points. So something to watch, but that's many years down the road from that. Leon Draisaitl, by the way, he is trending. He needs 185 goals in 8 years, because he's just started an 8-year contract, to break Gretzky's record for most goals as a member of the Oilers. Pretty good chance, I would think, that Leon Draisaitl can score 180 goal. He might score 180 goals in the next 4 seasons, to be honest, right? Could he average 45 goals a year for the next 4 years? Sure. I don't think anybody would be shocked if that happened. So it seems like a pretty good chance that he will end up passing Gretzky for most goals in franchise history at some point down the road. We'll see. Nothing's guaranteed, though, but he's right now definitely trending and on pace to do it. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. That's where you can text us or call us. We got lots of texts coming in. We had asked about funny injuries, and we didn't even really mention it, but guys just texted in, "Hey, fellas, I had a buddy stumble in his living room. He was in my living room. He just got off the couch, crashed through a triple pane glass table. He was completely sober, spent 6 hours in the emergency room getting stitched everywhere." See, that's what I'm saying. Like, come on. Now, I looked up Connor Halley. I'm pretty sure Bassett's listed on the injured list. So they could have had somebody, "Hey, one of our pitchers got injured. We want to activate Bassett." It would have been within the rules. It would have been within the rules. So I know that they like having lefties, but wouldn't you rather have a starter you think give you 4 or 5 innings? Just an idea. But now, have they announced, is Lauer starting tonight? Have they announced yet who's the starter coming out of the bullpen?
Yeah, Varland is starting.
Oh, Varland is starting.
Yeah.
Ooh, geez. All right. Well, of course, he used to be a starter for Minnesota. That guy comes out throwing the heat, but he's probably going to go, 2 innings? Because he did pitch last night, too. So I'm guessing he's going 1 or 2 innings.
Yeah, and, because I know Schlitter had a good start against Boston. The Jays did rough him up once, though.
Oh, yeah.
Going back to September 5th, he only made it through 1 2/3 innings, had 5 hits, 4 runs. So, hey, crazy things have happened. Maybe the Jays have something on this guy.
Well, they hope so. They do, right? They hope they do. As they're going to need it. It's a big game tonight. Obviously, game 5, if necessary, would go Friday night in Toronto, but the Jays are hoping to end it tonight. And hey, they're saying anything's possible depending on the score of the game. Like, I would not have Gausman coming out of the bullpen tonight. Right? If you're up by 1 or 2, I get that the need to win, but what if you don't win? Now you don't have Gausman for the game 5. I wouldn't do it. I would, if you want to have Savage, okay, no problem. But I wouldn't have Gausman going tonight. What about you, Cons?
Oh, jeez. I think it's situational. I mean, who's up in the order? If it's the bottom of the order and it's not the heart of it, maybe you think, okay, he can come in, he can deal and get this done. I get what you're saying, though, because, what happens if they do rough him up a little bit? Then you're down your starter for game 5 at home, a pivotal game. Would you become comfortable then with handing the ball over to someone on a shorter rest? I think you could look at another arm for sure. I think I would keep, if that situation arises, I keep Gausman probably sitting down.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Yaremchuk joins us. We'll get more from the Oilers locker room as we get set for game 1 tonight. Oilers and Calgary Flames. We'll update you on the Detroit-Seattle game that is currently ongoing in that series and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at playalberta.ca.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
At Fountain Tire, we're fluent in saving you money. Fluent? Yes, we've mastered the language of deals. Like right now, you can save up to 25% off select tires and up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. Plus, $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires. All until October 18th. I'm sorry, I don't speak deals. Spend less, save more when you buy round black things from us. Oh, got it. Restrictions apply. Book your appointment online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
They sure saw you coming. You went in for about $200 in auto service, and by the time Johnny Slick out front was done telling you everything he thought you should have replaced, you got hosed for $3,000. Big Toy Shop won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. You'll know exactly what your service actually costs and when it's going to be done. Take your ride to Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
Ever had a problem returning auto parts? At Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock, we do things differently. Hi, it's Lisa, and we're proud to offer one of the best return policies in the business. When you shop with us, you buy with confidence, knowing that if it doesn't fit or if it's not the right part, we'll make it right. For nearly 50 years, Ed's Auto Salvage has helped Alberta drivers save money, stay on the roads, and shop stress-free. Trust the team that stands behind every part we sell. Visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Finish up the season with the Lawnmower Hospital and Ego, the #1 rated battery-powered platform. Ego lawnmowers are easy to use, powerful, and efficient. Transfer the battery to the pressure washer and clean the house. Don't forget the air blowers for when the leaves fall. Get Ego at the Lawnmower Hospital. Power beyond belief. Visit lawnmowerhospital.com.
We're more than repairs. We're more than mowers. The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular priced order when you enter promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
323. Oh, baby. Comeback City. The Detroit Tigers were down 2-1 in the series. They were down 3-0 after the top of the 5th at home. People were getting a little worried in Detroit. Suddenly they score 3 in the bottom of the 5th. They tie it. And now they score 4 in the bottom of the 6th and suddenly have a 7-3 lead with 3 innings remaining. They could be pushing this to a 5th and deciding game, which would go in Seattle on Friday. Jays fans hoping that's not the case. They're hoping they can close things out in New York City tonight. We shall see. It'll be interesting. It's like a little warm-up for Oilers fans. You got the Jays game, first pitch at 6:08. The Oilers, in case you're wondering, puck drop 8:18 tonight. We like to be accurate on the puck drop, okay? Not at this 8 o'clock garbage. It's 8:18. So you have a little extra time if you want to, if you're not going to the game and you want to channel surf and watch that playoff game. Of course, maybe you'll watch some of the early action, but come on, who's kidding who? Like, it's MLB playoffs. I'm watching that all day long over opener, unless it's your team. Like, if you're an Oilers fan, you're watching the Oilers game, I totally understand it. But if you're like, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to watch that Montreal-Toronto game instead of the Blue Jays, I'd be like, what? It's playoffs, dude. Playoffs, to me, trumps regular season unless it's your team. That would be my thoughts on that. 325, it is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And it's back, baby. One of your favorite games, Monopoly. Peel it in store or get the bonus peel online. It'll be quite the feeling when you peel at McDonald's. Good luck as we welcome in from Oilers Nation, Tyler Yaremchuk. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I am a bundle of nerves for this Blue Jays game, but I'm good.
What do you think? So here's my scenario, because I was looking up what the rules are. Like, why wouldn't Justin Brule just have a typical guy accident? You know what? It could have got a blister, could have cut his finger. All of a sudden, guess what? Hey, we need to activate a pitcher. Chris Bassett, you can come off the IR. Boom, you can come in. I don't see why they wouldn't have done that. Like, and we were outlining the baseball injuries that have kept guys out of baseball games before. A pitcher with a blister keeps them out of a ball game. Why couldn't you do it?
I don't know. I don't hate the plan tonight, especially with what I was hearing that John Schneider says Trey Savage is absolutely available out of the bullpen tonight. So if you're looking at it, you can go with the hard throwing righty in Garland or Varland to start. He gets you through the order once. Maybe Lauer can get you through the order twice. He did that a lot in the regular season. And then go to Savage out of the bullpen. I mean, that's a pretty good run of 3 pitchers there. I don't mind the way they're going about it tonight. Doesn't make me any less nervous. Yesterday, I kind of thought Bieber would have more of a leash because today's a bullpen day. But yeah, I don't mind having the two flamethrowers with the soft throwing lefty in between them. That's not bad.
Yeah, Bieber was leaving a lot of balls over the plate, man. Like he didn't have like great stuff really. I know he only pitched 53 pitches or whatever, but he just didn't look like he was dialed in very well at that point.
Yeah, and it's why it's never easy being a manager, because it's one of those
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're darned if you do, darned if you don't. Again, what irritated me was that last batter he faced, Jazz Chisholm. The pitch was a strike. He struck him out and just didn't get the
Yes.
call. And it's like, oh man, how much different is that ball game if Bieber walks off the mound in that inning in that spot? I know they got out of the jam, but the ripple effects of everything probably changed things up quite a bit.
Well, that might have been the worst defensive game I've seen from the Jays in 6 months. And they're a really good defensive team, but in the first inning, when you bobble it at second base from IKF, that's just, normally he's a pretty sure-handed guy. That wasn't good. I know the wind was blowing for Barger, but still you gotta make that play. And even Vladdy, normally he doesn't let that one get through. So there's like three, Santander, he just took a terrible route to the ball. But that's 4 defensive plays that normally you don't see very often.
Yeah, I will say, though, I like that they're just going right back to Addison Barger today at third base. I think going to a young guy like that and being like, you know what?
Yes.
You're our guy. You've been doing it for 80% of the season. Get out there and, give us a big hit tonight, too. I like that they're sticking with their guns and not being all scared, going, oh, we got to just go with the all defensive lineup now or anything like that. I like that vote of confidence from Schneider.
Oh, what about Santander? Like, Lucas is a better fielder.
Yeah. So here's the difficult part is, today they're playing Lucas in left and Santander in right. Springer's a better fielder even at his age than Santander. But then if you put Springer in right, you lose the ability to at some point put Miles Straw into the game, right? So that's kind of the delicate balance they're walking. Putting Santander in right, as much as it kind of bit you in the behind yesterday, with the short porch in Yankee Stadium in that field, you're kind of just hoping defense doesn't need to be that big of a problem in there. And if there's a ball over his head, it's probably going out of the park anyways. So again, I don't mind it. I would love to see Santander come through with a big home run, though. I mean, you pay him all that money. I get he missed a large chunk of the season, but a big home run from him would go a long way.
Yeah, or even keep Schneider in then, because Schneider's been hitting the ball pretty well. So we'll see. Like Santander, he's got to hit at some point, right? Like yesterday when he struck out. Now he took a big swing at it, but that was right down the pipe. I'm like, God, like I can see if you're striking out on a curve or a splitter, but like it's right down the pipe, dude. That should be your ball to hit.
And I'm with you 100% because it's like, what did you think he was throwing? Like he was not throwing his breaking ball for strikes at all in that at bat. And it's like, man, if you're sitting on anything, you are sitting heater. He has not thrown you anything else for a strike in like 6 pitches now. That one drove me nuts because, again, Ernie was on second. They maybe had a chance to put together a rally. But again, like you and I just in this sort of 5-minute conversation, we've outlined like 5 or 6 things that went wrong yesterday. They lost by 3. Like you clean up a bit of that. I still believe they can win this series tonight.
And I think I might have said 608. It's 508 for the Jays game tonight. So there'll be no carryover. It's 508. My bad if I said 6. So just want to double check on that. Now, at 8:18, the Oilers will drop the puck on another season. We had Stan Bowman on the show earlier. Ekholm signs for $4 million, which I'd been talking about for a few weeks. I'd heard that number. I knew he really liked Edmonton, and he comes in right around $4 million. McDavid obviously at 12.5. They've got 6 defensemen signed for next season if we include Regula and Emberson. They've got all their key forwards at the top signed for next season. You've got Henrique's a UFA potentially. Then you got Kapanen, Phil, Lazar, some guys, Tomasic, who I think are guys that could you easily re-sign if you really wanted to at not a huge amount of money. I think it's, and I asked them about Skinner and Kulak, and they said, hey, we think Stuart Skinner, the top of his game is really good. It's just we're looking for some consistency a little bit more at times. And Stuart Skinner's talked about that. I think everybody knows it. Like when people say Stuart Skinner isn't good, I'm like, no, he is. If you want to say he's inconsistent, I would agree. But Stuart Skinner has shown his top-end game is more than good enough. He's stolen games in the playoffs for the Oilers. So his top-end game when he's on is more than good enough to help you win.
Yeah, I mean, they eliminated the Vegas Golden Knights on a 1-0 game. Like that's the definition of a 1-0 in overtime. Your goalie can't do anything more than steal a game in that situation. In terms of like extending those two guys though, like Kulak and Skinner, there's no rush on either one of them, right? Like, I mean, even Kulak, I get that maybe they're talking to him and seeing what the number is. I'm personally okay if they were to go, you know what, let's see how Regula does in his sort of spurts here and there. Let's see how Emberson develops this season. Another full year in the NHL for him. Wallman, the fact he can be a lefty or a righty, I think he bides you a little bit of time where like you have the 6 locked up. I don't think you need to commit to Brett Kulak right now. And from Kulak's perspective, he should be looking around the NHL being like, Cody Cece's getting 4.5. And how much did the Kings pay Dumoulin? And, maybe that's just the Kings who are paying these guys. But if Kulak has a good year and a good playoff run, he's still in his early 30s. Like he could probably get a decent payday somewhere. So that's even part of the reason, honestly, I was a little surprised they got Ekholm done now versus waiting a little bit. Like he's 35 coming off an injury. I'm not sure if there's room on the blue line with the salary cap picture to have both Ekholm and Kulak on new deals next year and Wallman at what he's at. I thought maybe they'd wait on both Kulak and Ekholm. Now that Ekholm signed, I think you definitely have to wait on Kulak.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's, and Kulak might want to wait himself because you're right. I think there's a potential for him to get a raise, especially if the Oilers go deep in the playoffs. Because one thing Kulak has shown, he's a pretty good playoff performer, and so that will matter for others. Well, you've got some guys who are veterans. Then you bring in the Oilers have lots of guys with who don't have a ton of experience and who can maybe improve as the season goes along. Because you got 0 games for Tomasic and Howard. You got 5 games for Matt Savoy. You got 15 games for Noah Philp. You got like 19 games for Regula. Like these guys don't have a ton of NHL experience. There's 5 players in your team. Podkolzin's still a really young guy at 24 years of age. Like Emberson's not old by any stretch of the imagination. Like there is now they're not all going to have very great seasons. It's just hard to think that all will, but there's lots of internal growth that could be seen as the season progresses for the Oilers.
Yeah, and the more I've kind of sat on it, the more that's why I kind of like that Knobloch went with McDavid and Draisaitl together out of the gate, right? It kind of almost in a way keeps all the pressure on those two guys, and it allows you to, play Howard however much you feel like you need to play him. You're not throwing him next to 97, and if he doesn't have a goal in the first 5 games, you're going to have a fan base sitting there going like, well, what are they doing? They got to pull him off. Why did they trade for him? Like, even Savoy, you play him with Nugent, Mangiapane. Those are good offensive players. You can still make things happen and have success with those two guys, but you don't have the pressure of why, 10 games in, he only has 4 points. Why isn't he producing more with Draisaitl? Why did, all of that? Like, I like easing everyone else kind of into the season and letting them kind of develop and grow into things at their own pace. And yeah, you have that top line that honestly, on a lot of nights, will probably be able to carry you offensively. So I like the way Knobloch's handling it. And I'm curious, even with a guy like Noah Philp, what kind of leash is he going to have? If he doesn't have his best game tonight, do we see Curtis Lazar in there on Saturday, or will we see Knobloch kind of be willing to, you can play through a couple of mistakes. We'll give you a couple of games before we start, considering a switch anywhere.
Tyler Rumchuk, Jones, what's your expectations for Mangiapane this season?
Yeah, I was talking with Ryan Pike from Flames Nation was at our office today. He's in town, obviously, for the game. And I kind of said, like, what do you think that guy can do playing in the spot he's in? And he kind of said, like, he's not necessarily a play driver by any means, but he's a good offensive player. So him, Nuge, Savoy, as that mix, who's actually going to be the one who's, driving play? Who's going to be the one carrying the puck into the offensive zone? I don't know, but I like that they kind of have 2 good hard forecheckers on Nugent Hopkins' wing. For Mangiapane, if I had to put like numbers on it, I think he's a guy who can probably get you to the high teens, maybe the 20s. If he goes on a run where maybe he's playing with a Draisaitl down the line and they seem to catch fire and have some chemistry, maybe he can get you 22 this year. But I think setting a bar somewhere in the 18 to 19 goal range is probably fair. Again, he had a relatively good season with Washington last year, and that was playing a lot of 3rd and 4th line minutes. I think his most common line mate was Lars Eller. So he should be playing with better teammates here. Should lead to a bit of an uptick in production. I think 18 goals is a fair expectation.
Yeah, no, that's probably fair. I think that's what they would need for sure. What about Frederick?
I mean, this first month is going to be interesting because if he catches lightning in a bottle and there's no direct comparison. You can't be like, he's just like Cassian or he's just like Maroon. Like he's a different player than those two guys. But again, you're playing with Connor and Leon. If you do the little things right and you go to the net and, obviously a few bounces will probably have to go your way. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do come November if he's putting up great numbers there and Zach Hyman's back. Like, do they just keep rolling with Trent Frederick in that spot? Can he kind of force their hand, I guess, and become a top 6 winger? Like he's certainly going to be given the opportunity. I still think that, again, at some point this year, Connor and Leon get separated. And I guess that will be the test for how they view Frederick is like, if you put Connor and Leon on separate lines, do you still like Frederick next to McDavid, or do you still like Frederick next to Draisaitl, or do you throw him a little bit lower down the lineup and let him play sort of that third line role that he's comfortable with from his days in Boston? But I don't know. I'm encouraged by it. I like kind of the way they're all talking about each other. And in the preseason, I felt like that trio got better and better and better in the games they played. So I have high hopes for him. I think there is a world where maybe he holds on to a top 6 spot even when Hyman's back.
Ty, I know you like to dabble at playalberta.ca. I don't know if you read my GDB today or not, but if you're looking for a prop bet for tonight's game, the guy who's on the first unit power play, who is looking to score for the 3rd consecutive year in the season opener, Trent Frederick.
So in that top power play spot, I mean, that's and isn't he like, I think he's like
scored the last 2 years in the opening game of the season in Boston. So,
and I think he's 3 to 4 to 1, isn't he?
Oh yes.
There's some juice behind that.
That's my fun little one. I always like to look for different ones. So that anybody out there, you can check out my GDB all the time, but in the not so obvious stunts. And I've had a pretty good run at picking some good ones there. So the Frederick scoring a goal in the opening game for the 3rd year in a row, I like it. That would be if you could have made like a prop bet on that 3 years ago, that'd be killer. But because he's not a guy that you would think, McDavid scoring a goal tonight. I know the odds are still, sure, they're decent, right? Draisaitl. Now, McDavid, by the way, has had 2 games in his career on opening night against the Calgary Flames. He has 3 points in both of them. He had a goal and 2 assists in his first time in 2016 of October 16. And then in October 17, he had the hat trick when they won 3-0, both those games in Edmonton. So, Oilers fans, could you see a McDavid 3-pointer tonight? Good chance.
I don't mind that. Speaking of the season openers against the Flames, today on Oilers Nation Every Day, we went back and we were rewatching that Jordan Eberle goal from the home opener in 2010, that beauty. And I kind of laughed. It's a terrible joke and Oilers fans don't like it. But imagine in that moment, if you could have gone back from the future and been like, hey, everybody, you don't make the playoffs for another 7 years. Like, I just remember after that game, fans being like, the decade, like, it's over. The playoff drough's over. The future's here. It's like, took 7 more years to get there.
Yeah, the thing was, like, that goal, like, it's not only the Eberle goal, that was also the McIntyre-Evanens fight. And I still remember talking to Taylor Hall, because that was his first NHL game. And so you're a young guy, right? And the game itself, he's like, great. He's like, Eberle goal. And him and Eberle I talked to both of them afterwards. And like, to see 2 men that, like, you saw guys fight in junior, NHL's different. And like Steve McIntyre and Rytis Evanens were huge men. Like massive. And obviously McIntyre got the best of him in that tilt pretty noticeably. And I remember, like, Taylor Hall said, he goes like, I'd never seen a fight like that. He goes like, I was kind of scared. Like, I remember exactly, like, that's when you're sitting right on the bench and you have front row seat, that's a little bit different of a vantage point.
That game actually had 3 fights in it too. Theo Peckham and Tim Jackman dropped the gloves, and that we watched that fight back, and it was like, even that was like quite the tilt too. That was a really good home opener. And again, it's just in the moment, it's the beginning of the year, optimism's so high, and it's like, it's a long season.
Yeah, and that was on Kiprasov, was it not, for Eberle's goal? Like,
Kiprasov versus Habib Ulin.
Yeah, that was one of the nicest first goals ever for a player in NHL history. Like, it's hard to beat that goal, really, when you think about it, in the moment, at home, and the move, like, little toe drag around the defender, and then beating obviously a Hall of Fame goalie. So not bad at all. Ty, give me your thoughts quickly on the Philp, Kapanen, Podkolzin line and the potential of it.
I kind of looked at those 2 lines that are in the bottom 6, and Kapanen's a guy who was trusted to penalty kill last year. Podkolzin, a very reliable player up and down the ice. It's an interesting spot to put Noah Philp, because when you look at, again, Philp and Henrique, who would you trust more in the D zone between the 2 centers? I think a lot of Oilers fans would be like, I'm leaning Henrique there. But then you look at the wingers and Howard, Tomasek, Podkolzin, Kapanen. It's like, you'd probably trust Podkolzin, Kapanen more in the D zone. So I'll be curious to see what the usage is like between those 2 lines in the bottom 6. Who gets more O zone starts? Who gets more D zone starts? Because I'd imagine they'd want both Tomasek and Howard starting more on the offensive side of the ice. But I like it. Like, Podkolzin and Kapanen, when they're fired up for a game, they're guys that go out there and bang bodies. Like, they can play really, really physical. And that's something I want to see Noah Philp add to his game a little bit this year. Like, he's got size. He's 27 years old. He's not a 20-year-old kid coming into the NHL. Like, go out there and play like a grown man a little bit. So the faceoffs and the physicality are two things I'm watching for with Noah Philp. And also, if we see Knobloch maybe lean on that trio as a bit of a defensive line, I guess.
Well, Chris Knobloch outlined his plan today. Look for the Henrique line with Tomasic and Howard to get quite a few offensive zone start time. They'll probably, he really outlined it. He looks and says, okay, because someone asked about Nugent Hopkins in their second line. He's like, well, you know what? Look at me. He thinks the Philp line might play the second most 5-on-5 minutes tonight because none of those guys are really on the special teams. So he wants to get them involved 5-on-5. And then he mentioned that he wants to play the Henrique line in offensive zone starts. Obviously, there'll be the McDavid line there, but then you'll see that's where Henrique, Tomasic, and Howard, like, on paper, you got Tomasic who can score. Howard, that's all he's done. Like, you got two scores there. So I like those guys are potentially, now that's the key word, potentially, more offense than you'd have maybe in Kapanen and Podkolzin. And I think Kapanen, Podkolzin, and Philp, you're right. Like, that's a line where he thinks, hey, this line can take some D-zone draws for us. They can all skate. They can be physical. And maybe they can, they can break up a cycle and get the puck out of our own zone. So I think that stuff to watch for is where the lines are going to play tonight, because Edmonton's third and fourth lines really, they have to list somebody 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm not sure they're like the Oilers' fourth line isn't a physical banging line. It's more of a scoring line.
Yeah, exactly. And I was even surprised. Yeah, who cares how they list them? You got to list something. But yeah, to see that Philp line kind of listed one above them, I found interesting. But even like never mind the zone starts, like the matchups the other way. Like, I would imagine Calgary is going to be doing a lot of that Backlund Coleman line in the D zone, hoping to get them lined up with the McDavid Draisaitl line. But maybe that's a way to get McDavid and Draisaitl away from the Flames shutdown center, as if you have Henrique just going over the boards for the ozone start. So again, game one of the year, but matchups, it's exciting.
Yep, it'll be fun. Ty, enjoy the Jays, and then right to the Oilers tonight. A double dip for many sports fans here in Canada. Should obviously people in Toronto, I'd be curious, like Leaf fans, you're like, I'm watching the Leafs or I'm watching the Jays. Whew, it's a tough one because they're on at the same time. So
yeah, that's why you need to have two TVs, everybody. The 2 TV setup. Once you get there, you never go back.
Yeah, it's true. You do have that. Smart decision. Ty, we'll talk to you next week, man. Have a good one.
All right. See you, Greggs.
There you go. That's Tyler Remchuk from Oilers Nation. 344. Do we have Tater Cons? Is high maintenance guy ready? Okay, we'll get to 5 questions. The 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. We got Rich Winter coming up top of the hour in another edition of the Business of Sports here on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better at On the Rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksYEG.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Common thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, till the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh yeah! Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Fall into savings at Wolf GMC Buick. For a very limited time, get 0% on every 2025 Buick and GMC, including the all-new Buick Envista, the Encore, Envision, and Enclave. For the GMCs, 0% on 2025s like the Sierra Half-Ton, Sierra HD, even the Yukons. Get 0% on all 2025s. Plus, get up to 84 months on the GMC Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab. But like the leaves, these deals won't last long. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the move, you're never more than a tap away from Sports 1440. Download the radio player or iHeart app today so you can get all access anytime to Edmonton's only sports radio station, Sports 1440.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand. And go.
Yes!
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah!
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding,
a wonderful day afternoon,
and used semi-trailers trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and
Okay,
freight
the best of the
industries.
best,
Find a
and they're
trailer
competitive,
right
and
for
they
you
want
online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary,
busy
Edmonton,
Wednesday
Winnipeg,
afternoon.
Public
We already
Truck
got
auctions
playoff
are next
baseball.
Thursday at 9 a.m. with Tritum, Tandem, and single-axle trucks, including tractors, diggers, decks,
50.
dumps, plows, vacs, man lifts, pickers, refuse trucks,
Connor
and
Halley.
more. Info at MAauctions.com.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium. November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance, featuring Devin Brain from $1 Million Quartet and an all-star band. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and at the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auctions are next Friday at 9 a.m., featuring a large selection of surplus municipal graders plus backhoes, dozers, wheel loaders, man lifts, skid steers, telehandlers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at MAauctions.com.
Is that Rogers commercial?
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$350. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. It's the Gregor Show, always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50 when you make a $50 deposit. They will match it, so it's 2 for 1. Make it count at PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick, where this coming up tomorrow, they're going to close the doors on Friday. Then they'll have from 5 p.m., they're going to reopen the doors this Friday at 5 p.m. because it's Midnight Madness from 5 until midnight. Massive sales. You can visit their stores on the north side, South Common, West Edmonton Mall, downtown, and the outlet store for big savings this Friday from 5 until midnight.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Game day, let's get a prediction and throw in a bold prediction as well.
Oh, yeah, Edmonton wins 5-2 tonight. I think Calgary, no Huberto, no possible. So I look at their defense. I think it's going to be a tough year for the Calgary Flames. And bold prediction, as I said, I'm going with it. Trent Frederick, 3rd year in a row, he scores a goal in the season opener.
All right, I like it. I'll roll with you. Won't do the exact same score, but let's go 4-1. And a bold prediction for me, I think we're going to see one of the youngsters score a goal. Iceman or Savoy. So I'll take one of the young guys to get a goal tonight for that one. Question number 2 for you. Let's add to it. Let's get a bold prediction, but season long for the Edmonton Oilers.
Go ahead.
You know what? I'm going to try to be an optimist here. I'm going to say that Stuart Skinner silences the haters here. And even those who are always against him have to say, you know what? He's been good this year.
Bold prediction. Yeah, that's not bad. I think Skinner will actually have a decent year. Bold prediction. How about... I'll stick with the same guy. Trent Frederick is going to score 20 goals for the first time in his career.
All right. Question number 3. Hot debate on the Kevin Carrier show this morning. Did you like Schneider's decision to pull Bieber when he did this last night?
Yeah, I understood it. I thought he was kind of serving up a lot of matzo balls there. And, had he stayed in, I'm not sold that the outcome would have been any different. I understood why you got a big lead. You're playing to win at that point. So I thought it was, I had no issue with it at that moment.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I get the other side, but they got out of the inning and then it went downhill. Who's to say that wouldn't have happened even if Bieber stayed in? Schneider believed in his guys. I can't fault the manager for that. Question number 4. Do you agree with the Bengals' decision to roll with Joe Flacco this week against the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, good question. Well, hey, Browning, what has he got? 8 interceptions already? So you got to try something different, but unless they can protect the quarterback, does Cincinnati not understand that offensive linemen are important? Oh my God. Joe Burrow is going to be out of the league soon if they don't get any protection there. So figure it out. You can keep rotating them in, and Flacco might not throw as many interceptions, but he's going to get sacked just as much if they can't block better.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I know Flacco does have a little bit of experience, obviously, with the Browns. They beat the Packers. I don't think it's going to be the same because that Browns defense kept them in that game. The Bengals defense is not going to do that. So, yeah, I like the idea. Let him get out there, see what he brings to it. But I am not sure how this one's going to go. Like you said, that offensive line not doing anybody any favors. Out in Cincinnati, final question for you today. Sigourney Weaver celebrates her 76th birthday today. She's been in a ton of movies, but I always think of the Alien series. So when you think of movies that involve aliens, what would be your favorite?
Go ahead.
I mean, I got to go Independence Day. That's a movie that I watch whenever it's on. I go Will Smith, the scene when they're ripping through the canyon and he takes him down and then drags him through the desert. Awesome scene. Cousin Eddie flying into it, sacrificing the ultimate sacrifice. I get a tear every time. Independence Day.
Oh, well, I'm going to go with 2 for very different reasons. I'm going to go with The Thing, because that was one of my father's favorite movies, and I watched it many times with him. And I don't know, for me, I always kind of thought it was cool. Dad would kind of introduce you to stuff. The movie itself wasn't the best, but it was more so the original one, not the one with Kurt Russell, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. And the other one, though, E.T. Extraterrestrial. Sick movie. Great movies, my childhood. My son watched it recently with us. He quite enjoyed it. So for any parents, E.T. ages very well. That's what I will say. It ages very well. From a 1980s movie until now, no issues with it at all. So still a little bit of a tearjerker at times. So it's quite nice. But yeah, Alien is great though too. I was thinking about Predator, because would Predator be considered aliens? I would think it'd have to be.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I love that movie. Predator is awesome too. So there's quite a few good ones. Coming up, we got Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update, and then we return with another edition of the Business of Sports with Rich Winter. But first, here's a comment on a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. Your next dinner is ready. Right now with Loca Quality Market and their gourmet meals. Choose from over 200 chef-prepared meals. See what they have to offer at loca.ca or in-store, 2 locations, Sherwood Park and the West End.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Some money being handed out today. The Oilers extending defenseman Matthias Ekholm 3-year deal worth $12 million. The 35-year-old blue liner heading into his 15th NHL season. 4th with the Oilers. Winnipeg Jets keeping Kyle Connor around 8-year extension worth $96 million. And Jack Eichel staying in Sin City 8 years with an AAV of $13.5 million on the ice tonight. You got the Oilers kicking off their season down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock with the Flames in town. We've got pregame coverage for you starting at 6 with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro earlier on in the evening. Flames and Canadians at 5. At 5:30, the Bruins in Washington. Then at 8 o'clock, you got the Kings taking on the Golden Knights. Major League Baseball playoffs. Blue Jays looking to wrap up their series in New York with the Yankees currently leading 2-1. First pitch, 5:08. In the 8th, the Tigers all over the Mariners at 9-3. And it's early, but the Cubs looking to stay alive as they lead the Brewers 4-1, trailing that series 2-9. Then the late game, you got the Dodgers and Phillies. LA can wrap it up with a win. And the Edmonton Oil Kings in action once again down in Medicine Hat taking on the Tigers. That'll start just after 7. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, it's another edition of the Business of Sport with longtime NHL agent Rich Winter. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the move, you're never more than a tap away from Sports 1440. Download the radio player or iHeart app today so you can get all access anytime to Edmonton's only sports radio station, Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
Call Legacy! Call Legacy!
for furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind.
Call Legacy!
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy! Call Legacy!
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
GMC's 0% event is on now. Get 0% financing on all remaining 2025 GMC models on limited terms, like the 2025 Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab at 0% financing for 84 months. The 2025 Terrain Elevation All-Wheel Drive at 0% financing for 60 months. And the 2025 Canyon at 0% financing for 36 months. No matter what you need, there's a GMC for you. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendinitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening, watching. I know many of you get the app. If you're outside the city, in the province of the country, even if you're in the U.S., as long as you have 5G, you can use the app at Radio Player, iHeart, or Stingray. Of course, if you go to this Sports 1440 YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Numbers are up. We got lots more stuff. You're going to see lots more shorts and different things up there as well here in the coming weeks as it expands. With the more subscribers and more viewers you get, then they give you more options to expand on YouTube, which is fantastic. And anybody who's just tuning in as you're listening on the podcast later on, thank you very much for downloading the pod. We appreciate it. It is, of course, game day. NHL Oilers and the Calgary Flames going at it tonight. 8:18 will be the puck drop for those of you who like to be exact on where it's at. But before that, if you need a little appetizer, you have the Blue Jays taking on the Yankees. First pitch at 5:08 tonight as the Yankees in another must-win situation. For the Jays, though, obviously they would like to end this as quick as they could rather than go back to Toronto for Game 5. Now, Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and we are excited to have back in studio for another rip-roaring edition of the Business of Sports. Longtime NHL player agent Rich Winter joins us in studio. Rich, how was your summer?
It was good. More importantly, the fall finished with me signing my last contract. Nobody's unemployed. Everybody's kids get to go to school, so life's pretty good right now.
Well, obviously none of them are in Alberta because their kids aren't in school
Yeah,
right now.
Well,
but yes, that was Adam Ernie you got in Dallas, correct?
Yeah, really excited. Adam's got 3 little kids under the age of 5, and El's been sitting at home waiting for him to see if he got a job. So he just signed with Dallas, which will give him a chance to apply a little physicality that Dallas could have used against Edmonton last year. So we'll see if he's the difference in the Oilers-Dallas series next year. I'm sure he's planning it.
Well, that'd be amazing if they met again in the. They did meet one time 5 years in a row, so anything is possible. That would meet. Well, I guess there's a wild card chance too, so you never know. It would be fun to see. Oilers and Dallas are definitely some of the top teams in the league, and a lot of people have them remaining as top teams. So there's a few things to discuss. We've seen 3 weeks ago, everyone was like, "Oh my God, look at the free agent class." And I was always like, "People, have you guys not been paying attention? There's not a lot of free agents who make it to free agency in today's NHL." And I know Mitch Marner's one, but there's some different circumstances there for a variety of reasons, from the team to the individual to his family, what have you. But a lot of big name guys stick with their teams. They always have, and I think even now with the salary cap going up, there is money to be had if you wanted it. Kaprizov obviously, struck gold in Minnesota, and I chuckled because everyone's like, "Oh, he reset the market." And I said, no, he didn't. First of all, the salary cap is the one thing that will set the market because there's more money. Individual players, every guy is going to do what he thinks works for him. And people can come up with these, the state tax here or there. Doesn't matter. It's all individual based on what you feel is right for you at that time. Connor McDavid, 12.5. Kyle Connor, 12 million. Jack Eichel, 13.5. None of them are close to Kaprizov.
No.
Right. And so, every situation's different. But what do you make of that as an agent? Do you look and say, well, you know what? If you had a mid-tier player, would now you really encourage him to say, you might just want to see, because there's teams that have a lot of money?
Well, and that's the thing. Wyatt Kaiser's young defenseman in Chicago, I think will be their best defenseman. And, so we signed a 2-year deal because you look at it and, you look at guys like Nazar. Nazar is going to, in the last couple of years of his contract, assuming it's going to continue going up by 10 or 12 points, he's going to be looking at like 0.03% of the salary cap in year 6. And this guy's a pretty good player. And at the end of the day, that puts him at basically the same level as Brett Kulak at 2.7, who's getting about 3 points on the salary cap here in Edmonton. So, man, it's risky with those kids. You don't know how good they are. And think about it. If we run the rule of 72, for anybody who doesn't know it, take 72, whatever interest rate or increase you're dealing with, divide it by that number. In this case, it would be, if it's going up 12 points, that's 6 years, it's going to double. So we could have a salary cap of 190 to 200 million in 6-7 years. So how's that going to stand up? I mean, they're Wyatt Kaiser, if he's a top pairing defenseman, he's going to be like 12 or 15 million. he probably would have taken 4 or 5 now. I jokingly said to the guys in Chicago, I'm going to let you look at a long-term deal because I'm going to try and help you not get fired. And they didn't buy into that. But but I think, they're going to find out. I don't know why. He would have probably been interested in 3.5 at 4, a little bit of security, young guy. And I think he'll end up being he's close to 2 now. His next deal, I guarantee, will be north of 6.
Well, the financial situation right now in the NHL, because did you guys not just get a memo about escrow and that players are getting now escrow back from the previous few years? Is that correct?
Yeah, they're getting, and I hadn't realized it was that far back, but so they're going to get every single nickel they paid in escrow back since 2023. So that ends up being a fairly significant amount of money. So that's a fairly significant amount of money. So yeah, and they also indicated that there's not going to be any escrow going forward on the first number of paychecks. So it looks like the league's anticipating a pretty buoyant year, and that buoyant year is playing back into a lot of escrow refunds, and it looks like no escrow, at least immediately, to be thinking about. So league's doing very well. At least they think so, because the way is the way this works. They never want to pay them too much. Because if they pay them too much, they'll have to collect from the players. That would be a nightmare at the end of the season. So they always estimate revenues a bit lower than they think, expenses a little higher than they think, because then if the players owe them money, it's easy. It's in the escrow, and they refund the difference. But
so the players are actually getting their escrow back from 22, 23, and 24?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Now, how does that work? Like, is that just considered back pay?
No, it's an accounting function. So at the end of the day, because you've got a salary cap,
yeah,
and you've got a player salary. So they're stuck. If everybody thinks they get 50% of revenues, they don't. They get 43 because the players have to pay their own benefits. They actually even paid the playoff share out of their share, which makes no sense to me, but that's what we negotiated. So they get 43%. So what they do is, they look at the start of the season, they go, okay, so we think we have an estimate of where the players' salaries will be. Okay, they're at, say $2 billion. And we think revenues are going to be, well, we're not sure about 4 in this example. Maybe they'll be 3.9. So we better take 8% off their check. So we make sure that they're not going to be over the 43%. So it's just an accounting function. It's like taxes. Guys get excited. My clients get excited. I got a $50,000 tax break. Well, or tax refund. Well, great. Yeah, but your accountant's an idiot. You paid way too much then.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. So they're just trying, they're taxing you to make sure that they don't overpay you. Because if they don't take more off your paycheck than you owe them, they're chasing you down at the end of the year. And many of those guys will be off in Russia. They'll be in other different places. So it's just an accounting function, no different than the tax department. The NHL and the NHLPA get together and decide that, yeah, we'll take off 6% because that's the buffer that we need to make sure we don't overpay the guys.
Okay. Well, that has to be a good sign then for the health of the league if you're paying back escrow.
So a lot of that was just delays in doing the accounting, because it's a lot of work for the guys at the PA. So they've got to go through, calculate every single expense paid, make sure a guy's not overestimated. A guy owns his own building. Is he charging enough? How's that balance? They got to go through all that. So at times it just takes a lot longer. So it's been a long time calculating all that. So that's some of the problem. But going forward is very exciting, because they're suggesting that revenues are going to be much better than they anticipated when they even negotiated a close to 10% increase. So they're obviously going to have a 12, 14% increase in revenue. So
yeah, there's already talk that next year's cap, which was supposed to be 114, might actually go up to 107. Right, that's
next year it's 103. Then the following year it's 113.
113.
Yeah, but they're I mean, that's why these numbers are bizarre. Like when these guys young kids sign these long-term contracts, like a second pairing defenseman might be making $7 million in 6 years. It's hard for people to believe that. No, but there's a problem that comes with that. Everybody's excited. Well, the cap's going up. That's great. The Oilers will be able to buy more players, but they actually have to generate revenue to pay those salaries. So there's some increases coming in national television revenue. But what are the Oilers going to do? Are they, everybody out there comfortable them increasing ticket prices by 25, 30% to pay all these extra salaries? You're on the sports show. You're really excited. Connor McDavid signed. We're going to get more players. Well, we're going to go back to a situation where teams aren't spending the budget. defending to the cap, they'll be spending to their budget soon. Winnipeg.
Well, eventually it's the, I don't see every team always spending to the ceiling, right? You'll have the big spenders, Toronto and Edmonton right now, their owners willing to spend, but I agree with you. I think you're even seeing it this season when you look at across the league at some of the teams that have $8, $9, million dollars. And I think there's I think if I'm not mistaken, there's 5 teams or 6, and one of them is Carolina, who have like $10+ million in cap space. So, well, the salary cap is 95.5. Lots of those teams are at 84, and I think the Blackhawks are the lowest at 81.
Well, and we're going to see that gap continue. Like it's going to be, you give it 2 or 3 years, there'll be teams with, I believe, with 15, 20%, 15, 20, 25 million in the cap, because we're going to be back to a world that the economics, especially in Canadian teams, depending what happens with the dollar, it's just not going to work. Like there's no chance the Edmonton Oilers could go back to their fans year in and year out with a 10, 12, 15% increase. I mean, maybe they can. I don't think it's sustainable.
What about like the San Jose Sharks? I've got tons of cap space, so they get cap space in paper. How does it, like for Carey Price, insurance is paying his salary, not the San Jose Sharks?
I presume so. If they bought insurance, which I presume they did. So yeah, insurance is paying.
So who buys the insurance? The team or the
teams are required by the NHL to buy insurance. And the reason for that is because what happened in the old days, and there's 2 elements that come into play here. Remember those days where Dominic Hasek had a $400,000 salary, and then he had 12, 15, like two, in that case, 2.5, 3 million in bonuses. Yeah, I don't think he's going to win the Vezina, so they gave him $1 million bonus for that. So 2 things that came into play in the last 2 or 3 CBAs before. They eliminated the bonuses because they don't want teams on the hook with the overly aggressive GM who didn't really buy into the bonuses being paid and threw out huge numbers, because it put some teams in some pretty big jeopardy when they had big payments come due at the end of the year. And then as what relates to, what was your question again? I'm losing my train of thought.
No, the question was who's paying the insurance.
So the insurance. So yeah, the teams.
But I heard not every like certain contracts, if a guy's on a league minimum 1-year deal, they're not insuring that contract.
I'm not exactly sure the specific requirements, but they are required. They are required to insure the contracts because the same issue related to the bonuses.
I guess different level of what they pay out, right?
Well, no, what basically it runs like any deal. Like it's like your car insurance, right? You're on the hook for the deductible, right? Same thing here. You buy insurance, you insure Connor McDavid's contract, I presume, is insured. So there's a deductible.
Right.
So the deductible, at least historically, it's been 30 games. May have changed. I don't know I don't buy the insurance for the teams. So basically, Connor McDavid goes down for the next 2 years. He's done. He gets hurt tonight. Probably shouldn't say that, but and whoever gets hurt, then the next 30 games, the Oilers are on the hook. And then
after that, it's the insurance
comes.
Okay, so the team would be on. Yeah, so there's a percentage of it. But in a case like Carey Price, because he's all now. The insurance is paid. So you have a team like San Jose who on paper, it says their cap hit is, close to 90 million, but you've got 10.5 that of Carey Price, which they're not paying out. You have the Logan Couture who has 8 million, and then he missed all of last year. So now that's 18 mil. Then they acquired Ryan Ellis. So that's 25 million of their 85 that they're not even paying for.
Well,
so now the expenses, Rich,
I'm not sure.
We're talking at 60.
I think
the team wouldn't do it.
No, keep in mind the insured is the Montreal Canadiens. So I'd have to check into that. I never thought of that. No, but the Montreal Canadiens are insured.
Yes.
The San Jose Sharks aren't insured. So
you would insure the contract.
No,
right?
you insure your car, right? You insure your business. Right. I'm not sure the insurance transfers. That's an interesting question.
Well, it would have to, because why would a team take on 10 million for a 5th round draft pick to pay a guy $10 million?
I've never.
I know we got lots of money, Rich, but most guys with money don't like to just blow it for nothing.
Again, but I haven't explored that, so I don't know. Wow, that's a good one. I'll have to ask somebody.
Yeah, well, you ask, because I was told that certain contracts are insured more, like the bigger ticket contracts are insured at a higher rate as far as what you pay out. So maybe it's the premium. So yeah, they're all insured, but a guy in a 1-year league minimum, they're just going to be like, hey, whatever, if he misses 30 games, by the time it's by,
But I mean,
it's not
teams
necessarily worth the
have to buy a
insurance.
minimum amount of insurance,
Yes.
but they can buy insurance for all the contracts that they choose to.
Right.
They, because at the end of the day, guy looks at it and says, well, I don't like the risk. I got 5 guys in the bottom 6. They're averaging $1.2 million. I'm going to insure them anyway.
Yeah.
It's a business decision.
Yeah. But I would look at it like if you're trading for Carey Price, his insurance has to be transferable because no insurance company in their world is going to say, oh, now you're going to get insurance for Carey Price who's already hurt.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just telling you, his insurance company, you don't get insurance for everything unless you
No,
want to
but-
pay
but
for it.
at the
Like,
end of the
hey, do
day-
you want insurance for Carey Price?
No,
It'd
but
be
your house
10.5
burns
million.
down. You
Yes.
get the insurance.
Yes.
The real estate went through the roof because you're living in freaking Vancouver.
Yeah.
You still get to sell land. I don't know. It's a question I have to ask. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But common sense would tell me that when I look at what those guys have been traded for,
Have you ever read the article on Common Sense? It's not that common anymore.
oh, well, that would, I know that the San Jose Shark owner is a pretty rich guy, but I don't think he's stupid. Like
Well,
it would make no sense saying, okay, guys, just wait. You want me to pay $25 million so we get an extra 3rd and a 4th round pick? I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Again, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Rich Winter joins us. Looking at a few of the other things with all these big deals. And I know there's a movie, The Big Short. So this is very different. So maybe it might not make sense. But if you look at these contracts now, and we could look at like the long-term deal strategy.
Yeah.
Better for team, better for player. I've always argued, and you know me, like this is not a new stance for me.
No.
I've said this for years. Shorter terms are better,
Always better
for the players.
Well, only except in the instance where you're going to age out, right? Like if you think,
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying it's better for both parties because at some point it benefits the player, and at other times it protects the team.
well,
from
it's
the
always
aging
better
contract.
because at the end of the day, so, if you look at it, I mean, Ilya Bryzgalov, I was pretty, he made $40 million for the 2 years he was in Philly. But the problem with the payout or the buyout or the injured player or the player that's not performing, it's taking money out of the system that
I agree.
can't be paid
100%.
to
Yes.
players who are worth
playing.
it,
Yes.
which doesn't necessarily hurt the league, but the poor team that has a terrible general manager that signed 3 horrific deals before he got fired, now they're saddled with an extra 5, 10, $20 million. They have a real trouble digging out of the hole, right?
Yes. No, 100%. And I've sat down and had beers with players to try to explain to them why it's not helping the PA.
I didn't know they drank beer. I thought during the season they were really
well, it's
focused.
non-alcoholic, man.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Thursdays, lots of non-alcoholic
good.
beers out there. But and I've had conversations with
Yeah.
players about this, because you do the math and you can bring it to them and say, do you guys know how much money right now across the NHL is dead cap space that's not being used by active players?
Yeah.
It's over 100 million.
Well,
So
but
that's
the problem,
100
but
million in the
hey,
system.
you add to that. I haven't looked at it yet, but add to that maybe another 20, 30, 40, 50, which is dead because it's being paid to underperforming players. It's being paid to players who are
Yeah, but
sent
that's
down.
always going to happen.
No,
right?
but at the end of the day, that's why. But it's not going to happen if you have a lot of short contracts. It'll happen, but it'll be a blip, right?
Well, short-term deals. Now I can understand the loyalty factor. I know we got a lot of text people saying, Gregor, it's terrible for fans. Well, not necessarily. The NBA has a max of 5 years, right? Max, and it's not as physical of a sport. It is physical, but it's not as physical as hockey. And I would argue that in the NBA, it's probably harder. Like NBA is a more global game than the NHL.
Well, plus they only have 5 players that they're really relying on. So
Yeah.
you lose one, you're in
Yeah.
fairly tough shape.
And so in the NHL, though, the NHL is, guess what? And the NHLPA agrees because they went from used to be able to have unlimited length of a contract if you wanted it.
I was the one who created the problem by signing Hossa to 12 years.
Yeah. Well, the DiPietro, I think, was before you at 15.
Yeah, but it was a minimal contract.
Yeah.
So no.
Well, wasn't he $4 million? Because he's
Yeah, it
still
wasn't.
getting
No,
paid out.
it really wasn't much. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was exactly.
And he, but they used to have unlimited length. Then they went to 8 years. Now they're down to 7.
Yeah.
Because the PA is basically the PA is admitting, yes, the term guys are still going to get their money if you perform.
Yeah. You don't.
Now, if you don't perform, well, then I could argue that guess what? You don't deserve it. You can't say, well, you know what? I performed 6 years ago, so I should still be getting paid about it 8 years later. Like, it's not how it works. At least it's
Well,
not,
it
shouldn't work.
is how it works,
Yes,
but it's not
a
how
good
it.
process.
And you got general managers have all this pressure, right? They don't want to lose their guys, right? So, yeah, I'm not a fan of socialism, but at the end of the day, in this context, you have to do a little bit. It's like limiting the bonuses. It's like in term, all of those things were put in the CBA to protect the owners from the general manager who will sell them on something at the trade deadline that will be a killer for 5 years. Whether
Yeah.
it's a term contract they pick up or in the case of the old situation when there was bonuses, you pick up a contract. I still remember Dom making $400,000 a year, and we put in these stupid, crazy bonuses for winning the Vezina or the Hart Trophy. I can't remember the exact number, but he made 10, 15 times. Do you think that was budgeted at the first start of the year?
Yeah.
And remember, that was the Regis's. They were like, they didn't have any money really. So probably created a lot of problems there.
It did. Now we'll take a break, and I want to come back. We're going to dissect the McDavid deal from an agent's perspective a little bit, and league wide, and also look at a few other things. And then the bigger one that you teased on a bit, but while the salary cap keeps increasing, are we going to get to the level of why they wanted a salary cap in the beginning? Because there used to be the haves and the have-nots. Yeah. And is the NHL slowly becoming a have and a have-not league? We'll find out next in the Business of Sport here on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better at On the Rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts. And play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocks.yeg.com.
Edmonton Elks Campus Clash is back, presented by Innova. October 11th versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, featuring $18 student tickets, food and drink specials, after party at O'Byrne's Ice District, and you could win a trip to Cancun. Tickets at goelks.com.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores close Friday to lower prices, then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals. The first 10 customers get $50 to spend on anything in store. Score free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, buy any TV or appliance and get a $50 credit to spend on furniture, decor, or mattresses. And take 5 years, pay with 0 interest on your Flexity card. OAC terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auctions are next Thursday at 9 a.m. with Tritum, tandem, and single axle trucks, including tractors, diggers, decks, dumps, plows, vacs, man lifts, pickers, refuse trucks, and more. Info at maauctions.com.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
At Wendy's, $4 gets you more than just a burger. It gets you a Dave's Single, made with a quarter pound of fresh, never frozen Canadian beef, all for just $4 at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra. But hurry, this deal ends October 26th.
Mission Island Auctioneering's next 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocks.yeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.427, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Rich Winter, the business of sport, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. And, of course, we continue on with Rich, and I do want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into it because as the salary cap goes up, it's it's great to think, well, that's more money for your team to spend. But where's the money coming from? Now, they are generating more revenues on online and streaming and different things like that. Any season ticket holder in Edmonton will tell you, I know where some of the revenue is coming from because, they're paying big increases, especially in the playoffs. It was ridiculous what the call was in the playoffs. So that's all part of it. But not every market's like Edmonton.
No.
And, the haves and the have-nots, you're seeing signs of it. Is it a concern, and is there any way to limit the disparity in the haves and the have-nots when it comes to spending?
Well, it's tough because the market's going to start separating themselves. But where it really gets challenging is right now, and I've had this conversation with a lot of teams, you have to have an answer because ultimately, look when Chicago won. What did they do at the last minute? They brought in a big piece in Marian Hossa, right? Look what Florida did last year. They brought in those 3 players and they signed them all. And what's happening in Vegas, because Marner took what, 3-4 million less than he would have got in Toronto, right? Bennett we were told they were ready to offer him 13, 14, considerably less. So we're in a league now that has lots of problems, but the biggest problem is there's what I call the top 5. There's 5 teams that are set up because of their circumstances to challenge for the Stanley Cup for the next 5 to 7 years. And it's the teams that have beaches and weather, no state taxes, and now their management's giving them victories. Tampa has a Stanley Cup. Tampa's competitive. Florida has 2 Stanley Cups. Las Vegas has a Stanley Cup and are always competitive. You're an unrestricted free agent. Where are you going? You're going where the taxes are low, where the it's competitive, where the weather's warm, where you can enjoy yourself. It's not going to be Winnipeg. It's not going to be Toronto. I mean, look at the last 2 big star free agents from Toronto. Toronto boys, where did they go? One went to Edmonton, one went to Vegas. Zach came here, and Martin went there. So these teams have to figure out the salary caps and the have-nots and spending is going to be an issue. But the other side of it is, it's interesting because you talked to Vinny.
Florida's never really attracted any free agents. They made really good trades.
Because they never won.
Yeah. No, but now they've built their team through very good trading. You look at
they only had 3 draft picks on the lineup.
Yeah, but trading for Tkachuk, unreal. Trading for Reinhart, phenomenal. Trading for Sam Bennett. And what you gave up for those guys and what they become,
wow.
Even Brad Marchand, what you had to give up very much. Forsling obviously was a waiver wire pickup, which, you know what, that's a little bit of a surprise, but that's a huge bonus. for that team. They go out and they acquire Seth Jones, a big one. Now they drafted Barkov, and he's obviously huge for their team. And Bobrovsky was the one free agent many years ago, and they paid him big money to do it. Those three, who are the other two? So you had those three. Who are your other two big five?
These are today. This isn't the Florida Panthers of 20 years ago. This is the two-time Stanley Cup champion, Florida, Tampa, multiple Stanley Cups, Vegas, Stanley Cup, weather, no taxes, same as the other two. Dallas, good team, not a cup winner recently, but good team, good market, no taxes, right? And then the fifth is an outlier because they have something called the Twin Towers. It's Edmonton.
McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah, like no one gives a rat's banana if it's minus 30 in January if they're playing with the McDavid or Draisaitl. And that allows us to trump what's going on elsewhere. But if you're around the league, you have to answer the question. You have to have an answer to the following question. How is it we are going to operate to ensure unrestricted free agents that we're targeting will come and play for us for a discount? You think anybody's going to Toronto for a discount? Not a chance. Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary. The best drafting general manager in the National Hockey League the last 10 years is Jarmo Kekalainen. He is drafting at a level that is about double what other teams are doing, but he can't keep anybody. So no one's going to Columbus. No one's going to a lot of these places, right? And so ultimately, we're in a situation now where these four teams are pretty heavily stacked. Florida's a little older. There's some issues, but in the next 3 to 5 years, those teams are the teams that will compete. And the Oilers might fall into that.
That's always been kind of cyclical, has it not? Because if you go back a decade ago, it was Chicago and it was LA and it was the Rangers. And those were kind of the teams, right? Pittsburgh was in there, right? For that stretch of time. And which would kind of be like the Canada.
But there wasn't five solid teams. There was, LA did some good.
They won twice. They were really good.
Yeah, they did. But there wasn't, like, during that period of time, there wasn't 5 contenders and nobody else. There's a whole bunch. You have to go back and look at the finals and see who was in there. But right now we're in a situation where it's going to be very difficult. So the McDavid wants to win. I think maybe they can here. I mean, people talk about the holes we have. Everybody outside of Florida has holes, right? Like Florida doesn't have really any holes. It's just the way it is.
Well, Barkov injury, right? But yeah, overall, you would think no, like they're pretty good. Now, I also think Florida, they had like a utopian playoff run last year. You have 8 guys have playoff career years.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to manufacture that again, but that's why you win. You only need to be great for 1 year, right? Like Leon Draisaitl said the other day, goes, when people talk about winning, goes, hey, obviously you want to win multiple cups, but the goal is to win 1 cup first. You don't sit there and say, I want to win multiple cups. It's like, I want to win the Stanley Cup. No one says I want to win many, because to me, that would just be delusional, right? You want to win 1 first. Now, once you win one, then maybe, another one can come.
It's not delusional because there is a strategy that you can follow. I mean, Coach Wooden won 10 times in 12 years and had 7 in a row. You can build that strategy, but my buddy Bill Comrie always used to say, you know what I did before I sold the second sofa, Rich?
Bought the first one?
Sold the first one, right? So you got to try and get that first. But there is, you see some of that strategy is counterproductive in some ways. Look at what Toronto has been doing for a long time. Give up a couple first rounders to get Kessel. They're trying to get an inch closer to the next round, an inch close. So you do a lot of foolish, stupid things at the trade deadline, which means like now Toronto there's nothing in the cupboard, right? And there's teams that have done that. And so you got to be careful, not to try and just win that one and destroy the next decade. But yeah, you got to win the first one, but it's,
but it is cyclical because I'm trying to think of a team in the NHL in the last, Detroit had an unreal run for 2 decades.
But
right?
They spent
yes, and they spent crazy. And then even in the salary cap era, they were the last team to miss the playoffs in the salary cap era, right? So they still held on as long as they could. I think it was 8 years until they missed. Now they haven't been back since. And so that's a long time. But, I've looked at it. It works both ways. You get to the top, and Adam Henrique spoke. We had a great conversation talking about that today. He says, it's hard to build a winner. People think it's quick. It takes a long time.
6 to 8 years.
Like if you look at Florida's winnings, now it didn't lead to winning right away, but when they got Bobrovsky, that was step 1.
Yeah.
Right. Then obviously drafting Barkov, right? Or Barkov might've been drafted before, actually. Yeah, he was drafted before. And then you had him, but they didn't have a ton of success. They didn't win a playoff series for 2 decades.
It takes a long
Right?
time.
And then they got
but
Bill
you know
Zito.
why?
Like, that was probably the biggest
It takes
part
a
of their
long
team.
time because some of it's luck, right? Some
Yeah.
of it you pick up a few late round picks that are a lot better than you expected. But here's the biggest problem. NHL teams, in order to win a Stanley Cup, historically, you have to have 12 to 14 core players that you draft. Because if you don't draft them, and then those core players are going to be spread out over a number of years. So there's a bunch of kids at the lower end that aren't making that much money, which fits into the salary cap. So if you don't draft between 10 and 12 core players being top 6 forwards, third line center, top 4D, number 1 goalie. Historically, if you don't have that, you can't win. But if teams in the National Hockey League are drafting those types of players at a rate of 12.3% on average. It's insane that owners are putting up with this kind of incompetence. But what happens, because what you're saying is right, but there's a fundamental reason for it. When you drafted a 12.3% success rate, you get lucky, or there's outliers like Florida who just made all those good deals and had Brad Treliving's number to pick up a couple players for nothing. But at the end of the day, if you're only drafting in that rate, you have a bit of a run, and you continue to draft that rate for the most part, because it's like the free throw shooter that normally shoots 55 and everybody goes, he's hot. Well, the percentages don't change. So these guys can't maintain it because they can't draft at the level to sustain it. It's because it's bad management, bad scouting. And and a lot of times it's just good luck, right? It's just good luck. I mean, Bill Zito's done a great job. But do you think he thought he was going to dump Huberdeau, which he didn't want to sign? Do you think he thought he was going to dump Uyghur? Like, they would have gladly given those guys away. They took Calgary, took them off their hands and gave them Tkachuk and Bennett. So that kind of good luck, I'm sure Bill Zito probably was hospitalized with the bruises he got from pinching himself.
Yeah.
But so there are exceptions, but the reason you can't sustain it in the National Hockey League, because they're not relying on analytics. They're not relying on anything systematic that can allow them to draft consistently. Look at the Oilers. When this little run's over, they're dead for a long time because they have drafted poorly.
Now, when you look at, and the thing is, but to say they've drafted poorly, when you look at the history of the draft, if you're not taking first rounders, it's usually 5 years to know if any of those guys are really going to be contributing NHL players.
Yeah, but if you look at who they missed, you see, this is like, and this is what teams say all the time. Well, it's like the rodeo rider saying, I didn't really do a great job tonight, but look at those kids on the Shetlands. They're not, and what happens at the end of the day here is everybody's around 12 or 13%. No, I want to know why you missed Kaprizov. I want to know why you missed Adam Fox. If I own the team, I want to know why you missed these guys. There is a plethora of players always available every single round in the National Hockey League, up to 6. There's great players available. Why are you missing them? Well, the reason you're missing, because no one, unlike the players, they're held accountable. And it frustrates me to no end that the rest of our business isn't held accountable, right? These guys deserve better scouting. These guys deserve better managing, because they leave it out there every single day. They make a mistake and one shift, about it, right?
Oh, hey, I don't discount it. At the same time, when you're at the draft, and you could probably do lots of scouting and lots of analytics, and you can get a Braden Point in the 3rd round. And even Tampa Bay didn't take him. Like, they got him in the 3rd round themselves. So I look and say, yeah, Tampa Bay got him, but they also overlooked him 3 drafts. Period.
I don't know.
Do they get success for
who
that?
Who did they draft? I'd have to ask you first, who did they draft in the 1st and the 2nd round? Barry Trotz and I had this conversation. He went to his scouts and said, look, we missed Point. He used that specific example. And I can't remember who they picked, but they were guys that the scouts felt very, their biases, played in it. They
took Tony DeAngelo in the 1st round that year.
Okay.
They took Dominic Messine in the 2nd round.
They
took Jonathan McLeod, exactly, 2 defensemen who never played pro hockey, in the 2nd round. And then they took Braden Point in the 3rd round. Now, I'd watched Braden Point that year a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, like, I loved everything about his game. Now, did I think he was going to be a 50-goal scorer in the NHL? I'd be lying if I said that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this guy's going to play so skilled. I just like the fact that he was ferocious. He'd fight in junior hockey. He was a skilled guy. And
good
the
hockey
thing was,
sense.
He was an unreal teammate to the young kids on his team. Like, there was none of the hazing crap when he was the veteran guy in their team. And, and even when he was a young guy, they said he was a real big leader. So I was surprised. And the fact that, I don't know, I look at his draft year, and he got drafted 2014. He had 91 points. Do you know how many 17-year-olds had 91 points in junior hockey that year? That's the other thing. Where
Andrew Mangiapane
is kind of mind-blowing.
Was pretty close. And they missed him for a whole year. But we know this. We know that We know where this is real estate, right? This is a financial portfolio. They give you 7 tokens every year to buy stuff, right? Now you can go out and buy stuff that's undervalued or overvalued, right? If it's real estate, you're looking for that piece a little bit out of town, but here's they're trying to find these guys, and we know where they are. Everybody in this room and everybody who's listening knows where they are. Small defensemen, players from places like Slovakia, goaltenders, because as hard as it is to believe, these guys are real comfortable coming on the radio and saying, goaltending, it's a crapshoot. I have no idea. Are you serious? That's like saying, my CFO, I don't really know what he does. Like, how is it somebody running a business can just admittedly accept that he does no idea on how to evaluate the most important position in his company? But they like to say that to each other, because if you say that, guess what? Owners repeat it, and no one keeps them accountable.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. And at the end of the day, like I remember saying to Dominic Hasek, so I'm sitting with him in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
And he says to me he wants to quit and go home.
Okay, so see, that's what's great about your point, is even he himself didn't think he was an NHL player.
No, he didn't think he was going to get a chance, and he was embarrassed, because here's what happens. I mean, because it becomes self-fulfilling, because Dom's a great player, comes from Europe. They send him to the minors. He gets psychologically disturbed by it. He loses his confidence. He really wasn't playing that well. But I remember saying to him, Dom.
But he also only played 53 games in the minors. Like, why was he so distraught over 53 games?
Because when you're the man, since you're 14, when you're the guy that led your country against teams like Russia, and they would outshoot you by 30 shots and you'd win the game 2-1. I remember when he got traded to Buffalo, all Jerry Meehan said to me, we had to try. I was there one night when he stopped 72 shots and they beat the Russians, and I'll never forget it. And I remember even Kelly Rudy, when they were skating here in the summer, Kelly was still playing when Dom started. And he said, I don't know how to describe that guy's style, but other than
he stops the
it
puck.
just stops everything. And so I remember saying to Dom, I said, Dom, I understand that you're frustrated, but do me a favor. Well, first off, I'm not going to help you get out of this deal, because you are the best goaltender I've ever seen in my life, right? And so he says, I said, tell you what, I'll get you traded. And if it doesn't work out by Christmas of that first year after your trade, I'll get you out. And the following year, he won the Vezina and the Hart Trophy. How do you miss those guys? Like, I don't find it acceptable. And then they keep recycling them, right? It's not fair to the players. I just wish we would have more measurements, more metrics that we could analyze to keep people in the business side of it accountable. Because that's why I'm not going to pick on Edmonton, but that's why teams can't sustain it, because they don't know how. They're not drafting at a high enough level to maintain it, and then they blow their brains out. Like they get lucky, right? Like, it's not like Edmonton had some brilliant strategy that got them Connor McDavid.
No.
You had a little bit of luck, right? It's not like they had any.
A little bit of luck, dude. They had a lot of luck.
Think about the 2 runs. Well, Edmonton hasn't the second run yet, but think about the 2 runs. They won one kid in a card game, and they won other kid in a lottery ball game.
Yeah.
That's not great scouting.
No.
I remember Craig McTavish saying to me,
Pittsburgh, same thing with Lemieux, although it wasn't, there was no card game there, but they tanked on purpose, and then they won the lottery with Crosby. But I would argue to Edmonton, really, as great as McDavid is, Edmonton also won because Florida, although they've won a cup, and funny enough, the 2 guys that won a cup were the 2 guys that went ahead of Draisaitl, one to Florida, one to Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, you know what, in a weird way, it kind of worked out for them too. But, like Buffalo, instead of taking Reinhart, had they taken Draisaitl, maybe they don't lose Jack Eichel, because now it's Eichel and Draisaitl together, right? So there's lots of, sometimes Edmonton, they missed on some picks, or, Yakupov, although there was really no one that went 2, 3, 4, 5 that year that anybody thought was, I guess you could argue that, they if you would have went at, I think it was Vasilevsky was 19 that year. And I think Forsberg was 11th, probably the 2 best picks from the first round in that draft class.
right, but I still, like those players who were available when a lot of teams picked, and there's not many scouts in those groups that get fired. My clients go to work. Adam Ernie is a pretty good young player. Like, he's getting older now, but he led the team in scoring.
Yeah, if they have a bad year, they're out of the league.
Right. Like, I had to beg, borrow, and steal, even though 3 years ago now, he had an injury. Everybody knew he had an injury. Like, he had, season-ending hip surgery. When he was here, he was working off of one hip. But you know what? They're held accountable. And it's sad, because I look at someone like Connor McDavid, who so wants desperately to win. How is he going to win? Well, he would have had a better chance if the Oilers picked 2 or 3 players that they missed. 2 or 3, not 10.
Well, no, actually, just one trade they don't make, Rich.
Yeah.
Don't not to bring up the past order. Don't trade the 16th overall pick, which you could have taken like 7 or 8 guys there. Joel Eriksson, Shabbat. We named 6 or 7 guys you could have taken. You have to take Matt Barzal. That's fine. You felt like we didn't need a more center. I can actually understand that from an organizational standpoint. But all the other guys you could have taken there was like 9. Go Travis Konechny, for goodness sakes. Would have been an infinitely better player than Reinhart. That trade, there's 1 or 2 bad moves, but lots of organizations make 1 or 2 bad moves because no one's perfect, right? Rich Winter has signed some guys, terrible contract. Well, I've done some terrible shows.
Actually, I don't believe I've actually done that. Actually,
it's how you react after the mistakes, to me, that separates the teams who win or lose. When you make a bad choice on a player, rather than just multiply it by keep pounding down, say, you know what, I'm not going to compound the issue. I'm going to cut bait on this.
And that's exactly the problem that Coach Wooden used to see. Coach Wooden had that mantra, right? It's not bringing in the wrong player. It's just getting rid of them.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot of text to get to. More in the business of sport. Jason Gregor, Rich Winter on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You've probably heard the term supply and demand. Something is needed and someone supplies it. We're GS Construction, and we're in the supply and demand business with you. Edmonton and the surrounding area continue to grow. Infrastructure has to be continually replaced and upgraded to keep up with demand. You see it with new buildings and new roads, but what about below ground, where all sorts of pipes bring you water and take wastewater away? That's where we come in. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
If you're looking for non-stop sports coverage, tune into Sports 1440, Edmonton's only sports radio station.
24/7 coverage comes at you with expert commentary, in-depth analysis,
and so much more.
We are Sports 1440.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned, with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie, and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auctions are next Friday at 9 a.m., featuring a large selection of surplus municipal graders plus backhoes, dozers, wheel loaders, man lifts, skid steers, telehandlers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at MAAuctions.com.
GMC's 0% event is on now. Get 0% financing on all remaining 2025 GMC models on limited terms, like the 2025 Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab at 0% financing for 84 months. The 2025 Terrain Elevation All-Wheel Drive at 0% financing for 60 months. And the 2025 Canyon at 0% financing for 36 months. No matter what you need, there's a GMC for you. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa Service Department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.451, Jason Gregor, Rich Winter, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, the business of sport. People are fired up. I like it. It's always good to have a conversation. It gets you fired up for or against it. I could read a few of them. Gregor, Rich makes it sound like it's super easy. Why doesn't he do the job if it was that easy?
You know what? I think it was Confucius said, if you say you can or you say you can't, you're right. And I guarantee you that guy's not running a major corporation who made that comment. Guarantee you. He's probably unemployed, and if he's not working with Antifa, he's doing something similar.
Now it is, and you've worked like for many years in the industry, so you see a lot of the inner working. Why do you think there's such a hesitation? Because now some teams, like as we've seen, you talked about Kekalainen, and he had some pretty good. Now he still had some misses because it's impossible to draft 7 kids and they're all going to hit. It's virtually impossible.
Kekalainen he killed it.
He had lots of really good hits. There's no question about it. They lost. Now there were some arguments about why they lost guys, and how
he's Columbus, man,
how they treated him different. But they also traded.
You're Russian. You're Russian. There's a little community there in Florida, and there's another little community in New York. You're not staying in Columbus.
Well, no, those two specific. Yeah,
can't do anything about
Panarin and.
But those are kind of
big
losses.
But Panarin wasn't Panarin in Chicago first, and then they traded for him. Yeah. So those are major losses. I don't no question about it. But he wasn't a draft pick, is all I'm saying. Panarin was a later on free. It was a trade.
Can I just respond to the guy who's unemployed who made that comment?
Well, you don't know if he's unemployed.
Well, I'm pretty sure he is because he doesn't have his brain cells working. Think about the agent business. When do I start recruiting my players? Friggin' 13.
Yeah.
Now tell me.
Well,
you can't figure it out at 18.
Yeah. Well, someone would say that's not necessarily the best strategy to recruit.
No, it's not the best strategy, but we have to. But we're stuck evaluating who we're going to invest our time with at 13. Don't tell me it's hard at 18.
Well, I would say this.
You know why? But that's why. How many agents have won a Stanley Cup recently? Bill Zito, George McPhee, not that lately, but Brian Burke. Why are agents doing such a good job? Because you know where you trained them? You trained them in the market where they actually had to pick 13-year-olds. They're sitting back at the desk and going, this is a piece of cake. It's not that hard. And if you say it's hard, you'll never develop the systems to do it. It's hard to play in the NHL too. Do you think they're giving up? I think Knoblauch's going, I don't know. It's really hard. So I don't know if we can win any games this year. It's ridiculous what that guy said. Can we meet? I want to help him out because he needs therapy.
I will say this, though. If we talk about a whole system, the system itself of the draft is incredibly flawed because I can show you all the numbers as to why the draft age should be later for everybody involved. Now, because people will argue, but you're losing it out. No, because I already have the system in place. It's very simple. You can have 5 picks a year for 18-year-olds. If you're all worried about labor law garbage, and by the way, they never used to have it. You never used to be drafted till you're 20. They all survived. Because the vast majority don't play in the NHL at 18
they all went
anyway.
To the WHA.
Right? Well, but even no, because if you look at the greatest draft ever is 1979-80. The WHA was done. So, but if you look at it.
That was just the copulation strategy 18 years before. It's like, if you want to really do well, you have to figure out the year you're going to draft first overall. Then you got to go to the McDavids and make sure that they copulate on the right time to make sure that it's but at the end of the day, it's just picking better. Like I don't agree with you on the 18. I mean, we have a free society. They can do it. But at the end of the day,
but other leagues do it, and so I don't buy the free society argument either. Can't be 18 to play in the NBA.
You can do it, but it's a little different here because not many guys go to college. Not many because you run out of runway at 18.
Okay, but you can't sit here and talk out of both sides. You're telling me that they should do better in scouting. Well, you should do better in a system. We don't need 18-year-olds drafted. Look at how many guys get drafted now. They're already half the league isn't 18 anyway. Teams are drafting guys 19 and 20. Look at I went back.
But it's also important.
50% of the draft class
as a general manager,
already.
I want him at 18. I want him at 18 because I want him under my wing so I can help them develop instead of hanging around in junior where the development is at 0. So I want them at 17 probably.
But you don't get them in they're in junior anyway.
Well, no, but I have development guys. I have development camps. I have training I can do with them. Now,
I don't know if that 1 week makes a difference.
No, the 1 week doesn't, but depend on the team. Some follow up and have guys there regularly. Guys are talking to coaches, trying to make sure they understand systems. Guys are helping them.
Let's make it. We should make a fun wager. When the NHL is coming in next season, they're going to allow 19-year-olds to go to the American League, Rich.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I can tell you how it's going to go. Because I see it how it goes with 20-year-olds who are eligible to go back to junior and they don't. And these are guys who are first-round picks, second-round picks, third-round picks, like high picks, go to the American League at 20, and they get their teeth kicked in, and they never develop at all.
We got to have Vinny.
So now they're going to do it for the 19-year-olds, and you're telling me it's going to be better? Give me a break.
We have to have Vinny Prospal on the show. I still remember driving away from Hershey, Pennsylvania, where I spent some time with him and Milos Holan. And, he's young, skinniest kid you could imagine. And he played 1,000 games after starting as an 18-year-old. They'll be all right.
But how many years did he play in the American League? I think it was 3.
3, I think. Yeah. But he started
maybe even 4. I have to go back and look. Vinny might have played 4 years in the American League.
I don't know if it was 4.
Right? I think it was 4 where he might have got called up. Well, I got to look it up. He might have got called up once, I think, in those first 4 years and played 15 games or something. But basically, the majority of his first 4 years of his career, I think, were in the American League, which is another reminder. There's nothing wrong with developing guys because it's a hard league to learn the NHL.
It's like Ken Holland used to have that theory, but he had that theory, but he also had a team that allowed him to have that theory because they're winning Stanley Cups, so you didn't have to bring them up. But there's a lot of pressure to. I would be.
I just pulled him up. He played 94, 95, 96, and then in 97 he played 18 games in the NHL, and then the other 63.
The third year, I think he got about 95 points in the American Hockey League as a 21-year-old.
His fourth year. His fourth year, he had 95 points, right? And then the next season, he went to Philly. Funny enough, so he scored 95 points, went to Philly, got traded halfway through the season to Ottawa.
Yeah,
and then it still took him a few years to kind of find his groove. He had a solid NHL career, right? Played 1,100 games, and it was 25
That's
goals.
decent.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. 25 goal scorer, and third round pick, 71st overall, and it's rare.
And he can't skate.
He might be.
It's unbelievable that he can't skate. But that's another one of those underdeveloped assets. All Vinny was able to do was distribute the puck in the offensive zone as well as almost anybody in the game. Marty St. Louis will tell you. Had a little trouble getting there. It never looked that pretty. But
he's got to be one of the few third rounders to go directly to pro hockey. Now he was an 18-year-old, and that's the rules. But I'm just saying.
No, he was European. So
yes, but that's what I mean. He's allowed to do it. But I think that 19-year-old
Peter Sikora was a small forward. Played American Hockey League at 15. And came to the training camp as the, I think, 22nd pick or something, wasn't he? About 22nd pick of the Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils and made the team at the NHL level out of training camp. There's a great story behind that one someday if you want to hear it. It's unbelievable. Lou Lamoriello is he's amazing.
Yeah, well, it was 1995. And because he was drafted out of Czechia.
No, he's drafted off from playing for the Detroit Vipers in the International Hockey League.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he played there at 19. Played for Cleveland the year before. He must have come over at the end of his season.
I remember getting a little deal. It was pretty significant at the time, $250,000 to pay in the international.
Well, that was the old defunct IHL. Yeah. And the IHL was actually more skilled than the AHL.
Yeah,
at the later stage of it.
Yeah, playing the Palace, they had a pretty good thing going over there.
That was a good line. Him, Edith Ash, and Jason Arnott. Really good line. Arnott still should have won the Conn Smythe. Just on a side note, that year he deserved to win it. Quick, do you think the 19-year-old rule is good or bad?
I don't think it matters because they're going to do whatever they're going to do. I mean, it'll be bad for the incompetent GMs who are going to put a kid who's not ready into that situation, and it'll be fine for the kid who's ready. It's all going to be management mess ups.
As an agent of a player, if you knew he wasn't ready, would you say, hey, look him square?
I've actually had the fight the other way where I had a big fight with Jim Nill. I'm trying to think. Oh, was Thomas Tatar. So Thomas Tatar played in the American Hockey League at 18.
Yeah.
Right. And Jimmy, I didn't tell any junior hockey teams because I knew he was ready to play. Right. They should know that, but they don't always know the players as well as we do. Right. So he played in the elite league in Slovakia, Nitra before. He's played with men. He's played well with men. So I made a deal with Jimmy Nill. I said, Jimmy wanted him to go to junior. I said, I think you're wrong. So I'll tell you what, I'll do you a deal. If he's not competing, if we, we'll have to agree, but if he's not playing well,
and you can send him,
then I'll send him to junior. And he never looked back. So, and that's not a big player. To me, it's not about the size. It's not about any of those things. It's about this little thing in the middle of your chest. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're 5'9" or 6'4". You don't have that thing going. That's the reason Toronto lost. That's the reason Dallas lost. If you look in the conference finals, so one thing Edmonton, in addition to what I talked about around the players, there's two things that Edmonton and Florida had that the other two teams they played in the conference finals didn't have. They didn't have this.
Heart.
The way that, I remember saying to Stan Bowman, like, who the heck are those guys in the bottom six in the uniforms? Where'd you get them? They're not the same guys that were playing the regular season. It just seemed like they wanted to play for Connor. In Florida, it just seemed like they want to play for each other. That's how those two teams. I thought Dallas and Toronto looked really nice, pretty. They were dressed skating, but they didn't have that. They were prepared to go through the wall. Now the Oilers didn't win because they both had the passion.
Well, Hyman injury really hurt.
That hurt, and they just didn't have the horses.
No, Hyman injury hurt him a lot.
A
Rich,
lot.
great to have you back. We will chat with you next Wednesday.
Yeah, I want the guy's number.
Yeah, we'll get you his number. You can call him.
Well, I'll take him for lunch, and before that, he'll never make a mistake again.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Rich Winter joins us every Wednesday in the business of sport. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. If you're looking for a great deal on tires, plan ahead right now. You can get 0% financing for 6 months or get 12 equal payments over a year. Again, 0% financing. Learn more at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, the Edmonton Oilers extending defenseman Matthias Ekholm with a 3-year contract extension worth $12 million. The Oilers kick off their season tonight down at Rogers Place, 8 o'clock, taking on the Flames. We got pregame coverage getting going at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere, Maple Leafs host the Canadians, Bruins in Washington, and the Kings taking on the Golden Knights. In the majors, the Detroit Tigers evening up their series with the Mariners at 2 apiece after a big 9-3 win. Right now, Cubbies up on the Brewers 4-2 in the bottom of the 5th. Later on, you got the Yankees and Jays. Jays can wrap it up with a win, and the Phillies taking on the Dodgers. Dodgers can also win this series with a victory. And WNBA Game 3 of the Finals, Mercury Aces at 6. Coming up in Hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and the voice of the Flames, Derek Willis. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Edmonton Elks Campus Clash is back, presented by Innova. October 11th versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, featuring $18 student tickets, food and drink specials, after party at O'Byrne's Ice District, and you could win a trip to Cancun. Tickets at GoElks.com.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores close Friday to lower prices, then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals. The first 10 customers get $50 to spend on anything in store. Score free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, buy any TV or appliance, get a $50 credit to spend on furniture, decor, or mattresses. And take 5 years to pay with 0 interest on your Flexity card OAC. Terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
When it comes to choosing a hair clinic, the difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. Transforming how you feel about yourself is a very personal experience, and I'll work directly with you every step of the way.
Physicians come from all over the world to learn from Dr. Elliott.
When your personal goal is to help other people achieve theirs, you must deeply understand the latest treatments.
Want to feel confident and comfortable? The difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and breaking down the green and gold. Most in-depth WE football coverage online, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock, welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hey, man, we love it, a little passion. People are fired up at the text line. Oh, Rich is fired up. Oh, Jesus, great. You don't have a little passion. What the hell are we doing talking about sports? It's great. We got the Jays game going on. Well, it's actually not going on yet, but it's around the corner. Detroit wins their game, so that's going to game 5. Mark Spector's Chicago Cubs are leading 4-2 midway through that game. They need a win, desperation mode as they trail 2-0 against Milwaukee, but they are at home now, first home game. And then later on tonight, the Phillies in LA, and they're just trying to stave off elimination. So not ideal for the Phillies to be down 0-2 and going on the road. Meanwhile, Toronto and the Yankees, game 4 tonight. Yankees still need a win to force a game 5. Blue Jays win tonight, and they will get to relax and wait to see the winner of Detroit and Seattle. It's a Gregor Show. You can get into all that, get in some props bets. Is Vladdy going to go back to back home runs 4 games in a row? Might put a few shekels down on that at playalberta.ca. Good luck. Now, let's get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. If you are... whether it's running water or on the freeway, they'll help you out. That's Legacy Heating. Now, Cons, did we get those tickets? Yes. So what we're going to do right now, we got a pair of tickets. And we're going to don't text because we're going to get a kid on because this came from Derek at Athex. So he's I know some kids are frustrated. There's no school. I know people laugh when you're talking about my kids are 11. No, there's lots of kids missing out on it. And so you can go to the game tonight because you don't have school tomorrow. And we're going to give the tickets to somebody who has never been to an NHL game. 8 or older, never been to an NHL game. So get your kid on the phone because we're going to be taking a random caller in about 20 minutes for that. Okay? So pay attention. Son or daughter who's never been to an NHL game. And they'll get to go there first tonight, courtesy of Ethics. Now let's get to Mark Spector. Spec, how you doing?
Doing great, Jay. That sounds like a nice initiative. Send a kid to a game. Hell, if they want to go bang out 800 words tonight, they can sit in my seat.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, hey, they might write a little bit better. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
the orders, hey, Matthias Ekholm, the latest one who gets signed here for Edmonton, they've got their core. We had Rich Winter on, and Rich was believing that there's 5 teams right now, that there's like 5 legit contenders and no one else. And he has Edmonton as one of the legit contenders. To me, that's not a surprise. But you got Ekholm signed at $4 million. We've been talking about that for a few weeks. That was the number around, in that range that we thought he would get, although I thought it'd be 2 years, turns out to be 3 years. You throw in Wallman, you throw in Bouchard, you throw in Nurse. Their top 4 are signed. Then they got Regula and Emberson. Then you throw in Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Pod, Coles, and they got lots of their main guys signed spec. And I asked Stan Bowman in the first hour today on the show about Skinner and Kulak, and he gave a very honest answer. He goes, Stuart Skinner's shown his top game is more than good enough. It's just finding the consistency in his game, and that's really kind of what they're going to be evaluating this year.
Yeah, I really feel like this is a huge year for Skinner, and he's going to play. Like, Skinner's an NHL goalie. He's going to have a long NHL career, and I've already been on the record. I think he'll be much better this year. I think there's a good goalie there. But whatever. His timeline needs to sync up with the Oilers' timeline. He needs to be a Stanley Cup goalie now, not in 2 years, not in 1 year, not later, right? Now. They need a Stanley Cup winning goalie like today. So this is Stu Skinner's year to prove he's that. And I'll be honest with you, I am absolutely of the belief, although Stu Skinner is a very well-liked person, I'm sure, in the room. For how I know him, I know you know him some, Jay. Like, he's just a hell of a good guy. He's got a great head. I got nothing but good things to say about the guy. But I'm going to say this. If he doesn't show he's the answer to his teammates this year, they're going to start looking at him and saying, you're not the answer. You're the question. And this is a huge year for him in his contract, for him and Stan Bowman. It's even a bigger year for him and the belief in him inside those 4 walls of the Oilers dressing room.
Yeah, and speaking of good starts, Vladdy did it again. Springer had a leadoff double, and now Vladdy just got him home, and the Jays have an early 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning. So Schlittler, who had a very good start the last time, not off to the best start just yet. So the Jays hoping that they can get to him. And Barger just got another one here. So the Jays got runners on spec. So it's a good start for Toronto in the Bronx tonight. As people make their way home, don't worry, you got a lot of time to watch that game. It's kind of a lead up to the Oiler game. It's an unreal time to be a sports fan in October. What's your I had a good chat with Matt Savoy today, Spec, and like as a young player, man, he's got a lot of faith in it from his head coach right now. He's going to start. He's going to be on there, and Knobloch said, I don't know if it's our second line, but however you want to call it, but he's playing with Nugent Hopkins and Mangiapane. So he's playing with some skilled players. He's going to be on the penalty kill. He's playing with Adam Henrique. So likely that's probably going to be the first unit over the boards because Henrique's their best face-off guy, right, on the penalty kill. And then he's also going to be on your second power play unit. Like, he's put himself in a situation here to be a good contributing player.
Yeah, what you love about a team now that's good and has veteran guys is, I remember when the Matt Savoys came along and they were on the first power play unit and they were on the first line. And if they didn't produce, the team wasn't going to win. And we all know what happened. Matt Savoy gets to break in now as a secondary player. Tons of responsibility, like you say, like they're giving him. He's earned some responsibility and good for him. But the Oilers will not go as Matt Savoy goes. There's not that kind of pressure on the young player, and that's a huge difference. It's like Parekh in Calgary. We're talking about Parekh. He's not playing tonight, but the guys who watched him in preseason are very much questioning if he is armed defensively to survive in this league. And the Flames are probably going to keep him and play him and figure it out. But this way is better. This way works better, having experienced both ways.
Yeah, well, I see they've got 2 guys from 2024 that are on their opening day roster. I'm not sure that either one, Zane Parekh, he's a young defenseman. And I know that they're like, oh, he's got nothing to learn. And I'm like, well, I would disagree. He can still be better. Like they're saying he's got nothing to learn in junior, right? Oh, if you go back to junior, there's nothing to learn. I am such a strong disbeliever in that. I said, no, you send him back to junior and you're like, we want you to kill penalties down there. And we want you to really and I would talk to the coaching staff and say, guys, I don't want him to just be run and gun and having no care about his defensive game. Let's challenge him and help him to be a better defensive player. So then next year he could play in the NHL.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, that you could run into difficulty there with a junior team that says, look, if you're sending us the player, he's now our player and we'll play in the way we choose. The Calgary Flames don't own the junior team. Okay. So, don't tell me that you're giving me Zane Parekh, who's chasing down Bobby Orr's scoring record last year, and I'm supposed to make him be a stay-at-home guy. Like,
no. See, Spec, that's not what I don't know why people think learning how to play defense. All the best offensive players tell us when I got better defensively, it didn't hurt my offensive game.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So he can say, Zane, you want to dominate in the offensive zone, but you can have a pulse in how to read the play in the defensive zone. That's all.
Hey, listen, we fundamentally agree on this argument. I feel like the chance of him being harmed by being in over his head in the NHL is far, far more dangerous and a poorer way to develop your player than to send him back to junior. And sure, there might be some nights where he's the best player on the ice and there's not a lot in it for him the odd night, but you're right. You can send the kid down with instructions. I mean, putting a young player in the NHL who's not ready, especially a defenseman, it can leave some dents that you just can't pound out later. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, Russian guy. I have argued the NHL is not a teenager league. Like there's a few outliers, but there's rare, right? One of the best players in the game today, Leon Draisaitl, wasn't good enough for the NHL at 19, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. He went back to junior, and look what he became. So it did not hurt him. If Zane Prek stays up and gets 8, 9, 10, I don't even care if they want to blow a year of his ELC. That's their choice. If he does that, but ultimately he's going to end up back in junior this year, as he should. And I don't think there'll be any harm whatsoever by doing that.
No, let's see how they handle that. But in terms of the Oilers' young guys, I mean, certainly Savoy's ready to play in the league. Like he had a really good AHL year last year. The guy that's interesting for me is Ike Howard. He's playing his first NHL game. He's got parents. He's got grandparents. He's got the girlfriend's family. He's got brothers and sisters. He's got a half a section here watching him tonight in his first NHL game. So I wished him luck this morning and said, go get him, man. So it's a big day for him, right? It's a real thrill.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny because I spoke to Henrique. Adam Henrique's playing game 994, and his two line mates are playing game 1 tonight. And very different cases, right? Like I talked to David Tomasic yesterday in the room, just kind of kibitzing because I got to know him a little bit before training camp, and how, what his goal was. I just wanted to make the team. And now it goes, now you're here. Now it's like you want to become more of a contributor, right? But that was goal number 1 because I asked him, are your parents coming? He said, I wasn't sure. I was even up until he made the final roster. He didn't know if he was making the roster. So he didn't want to, get his parents to plan a trip because it's different than if you're coming from, the U.S. If you're coming from Europe, right? Like it's a much bigger trip, right? So it's a very different situation. But, he's 29. And I like what Henrique said. He goes, it's not going to matter. He's 29. He's played pro for 10 years. Ike's just coming out of college. He's all fired up. And he goes, I'm playing game 94. But I'll tell you, there's still excitement, nerves. But when you see those other guys and it's their first time, that just adds a little bit more jump. And what did you make of Knobloch's comments about how he's going to give that line a lot of offensive zone starts? He's expecting some offense from them.
Yeah, well, that's good. Like the days of taking an Ike Howard, I get it. Ike Howard doesn't walk in here and play on your first line. Like that's not happening on this team. But just because you're on a depth line doesn't mean you have to be utilized as a checker. We're not all of a sudden turning him into Tanner Pearson here because he's not on the top 2 lines. Like the game's changed is my point. It's not the same game. So sure, you got to be responsible and all those things, but you can play on that depth line. There's less minutes, but you can play on that depth line and get the ozone start. Why not? Right? We don't have to turn these guys into the 2013 LA Kings or whatever they were that scored 1 goal a night and tried to beat you 1-0. I hated that team, by the way.
Yeah, well, how could you not? It was pretty boring.
I hated that team.
Hey, what did you make of the decision to pull Bieber at that time last night?
He was getting beat up. He was getting beat up. Listen, everyone wants to second guess the manager who's got 30 seconds to make a decision here. And he's making it the batter before. He says, if this guy gets on, I got to make a move. I'm not second guessing Snyder. I'm not second guessing him. His guy was getting crushed. The game was still well with it while they were leading the game. They were trying to protect the game. They thought they were going to win. No, I got no problem with it. He made the call. Did it turn out to be a call you'd make differently? Maybe, but it's totally in hindsight that you say that.
Yeah. I understood why he made they were winning, and you're like Spec, he was leaving a lot of balls over the plate. So I understood it in that, like,
good.
hindsight, yeah, the other guys came in, it didn't work out, but you don't know that. And honestly, if you look at the home run that Judge hit, that pitch, and Sarah Lang, who covers all the stats, like no one's ever hit a ball that far inside as a home run. There was the only ball hit, I think it was like in the last 20 years, like, because they cover every stat in baseball. So I'm like, geez, it's not like Varland made a terrible pitch. It's like Judge hit a pitch out of the ballpark that never goes out of the ballpark. So you're like, tip your hat to him. He made an unreal play.
Yeah, listen, you're in the ALCS, the AL playoffs. You're playing. I mean, two things here. The Yankees were the second best team in the American League, and they had the exact same record as the Blue Jays, right? So if you think you're going to roll through them in 3 games, you think Judge is never going to take a bite out of you in a playoff series, I got news for you, man. They're a really good team, and you don't get to just score 14 a night and walk through them in 3 games. They're going to get their night where they get 12, and they did last night. So whatever. It's 2-1 in the series. You got 2 chances to beat the Yankees and feel real good going up against Detroit or Seattle. And listen, you don't get to win them all. It's the old saying, buddy. The other team's trying too.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Spec, have a good one. And
enjoy the game tonight, buddy.
Enjoy the Jays, and we'll enjoy the orders, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
I'll see you at the rink.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. So here's what we're going to do. 833-401-1440. That's our phone line number. We need to hear from a child 8 to 17 who has never been to a game. And we are going to take caller number 7. 833-401-1440.
You'll see us digging holes. No, we're not looking for buried treasure. You'll see us digging trenches as well. And no, we're not building a fort. We're GS Construction, and you'll see us in neighborhoods throughout the Edmonton area. So what are we doing? GS Construction provides rehabilitation and upgrade services to Edmonton and surrounding communities. Some of our underground utilities have served us for years and are past their useful lives. We replace them, so they're around for years to come. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
If you're looking for nonstop sports coverage, tune into Sports 1440, Edmonton's only sports radio station.
24/7 coverage comes at you with expert commentary, in-depth analysis,
And so much more.
We are Sports 1440.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand. And go.
Yes.
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
Game day sauce. Buddy, quit rolling up to the bar and looking like it's grade 9 grad and you're wearing your dad's old work suit. Do yourself a favor and call Game Day Suits.
Game Day Suits is Alberta-based and makes fully customizable, made-to-order suits. Perfect for hockey teams, wedding parties, or even the office crew. Book your free consultation at GameDaySuits.ca.
I'm rocking one right now. I look deadly.
You know they can't see you, right?
Okay, Mr. Announcer, you want to go, tough guy?
Game Day Suits!
GMC's 0% event is on now. Get 0% financing on all remaining 2025 GMC models on limited terms, like the 2025 Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab at 0% financing for 84 months. The 2025 Terrain Elevation All-Wheel Drive at 0% financing for 60 months. And the 2025 Canyon at 0% financing for 36 months. No matter what you need, there's a GMC for you. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Edmonton Elks Campus Clash is back, presented by Innova. October 11th versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, featuring $18 student tickets, food and drink specials, after party at Auburn's Ice District, and you could win a trip to Cancun. Tickets at goelks.com.
Love. Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Get your power play amped up with eWell, supplying the city of champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. eWell.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:28. Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hope you're having a wonderful day as you make your way home. Drive safe. Stay calm. We can update you on the Jays and the Yankees are into inning number 2. The Jays leading 1-0. Detroit was able to stave off elimination earlier today, and Game 5 will be Friday in Seattle. Meanwhile, the Cubbies are taking on Milwaukee, top of the 7th now. Cubbies up 4-2 in a must-win game for them. Now, tonight, Oiler game. Exciting for a lot of people. Well, and thanks to Derek at Athex, young Kaya going to the game. Kaya, how you doing?
Good.
Kaya, do you have a favorite Edmonton Oiler player?
Yes.
Who is it?
It's Hyman and Draisaitl.
Oh, Hyman and Draisaitl. You like it. Now, do you play hockey, Kaya?
Yes. It's my first year.
Really? What's your team name?
Storm.
Oh, okay. And what position do you like to play? Are you playing half ice?
We're playing half ice.
Okay.
I like to play all.
You like to play all of them. And do you have a number? Do you get your first jersey? What's your number?
3.
Ooh, 3. Well, guess what? You can, whether you wear your jersey or an Oiler jersey or an Oiler hat, you're going to go to the game. Or are you going to take your mom or your dad?
Mom.
Your mom. All right. Well, you make sure your mom buys you some popcorn because you're getting the tickets. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And you can say thank you to everybody at Athex because they're sending you to the game. Stay on hold and Connor will get all your mom's information and we'll send you the tickets.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Well, what a polite young girl. Love it, playing hockey. So now she's a hockey player. She's going to her first Oilers game. It's an exciting night. Exciting night for her. So that is awesome. So love it. Now let's continue on talking about the Oilers as we're going to go back inside the Oiler room as we go. Oil Report brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for a vehicle, no better selection than Go Auto with 69 locations across the group. Check it out from Jeeps, Dodge, Jeff, you name it. They got it at Go Auto. And the voice of the Calgary Flames, who are the Oilers' opposition tonight. This will be the 10th time the Flames and the Oilers have met to start a season, but the first time in 8 years that these two have opened up the season together. The Flames are trying to become only the second team in the last 35 seasons to win 4 home openers in a row and score 5 goals in each game. So they've started the season very well the last 3 years. Derek, welcome to the show. How you doing?
A pleasure to be with you. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm excellent. Hockey is back. We got baseball playoffs. There's lots happening. The Flames themselves, I guess, let's start kind of like how concerned are they? How serious is the Pospisil and Huberdeau? Are these short term, or are these concerned that they might be nagging into weeks?
Yeah, I think they're short term. We don't know officially what is wrong with Jonathan Huberdeau. We can guess, and my guess would be he's probably in concussion protocol. He collided with a goaltender face to mask and left the game and didn't come back in his last preseason game. So I'm guessing he's in protocol. As for Martin Pospisil, I'm not sure what's going on with him. So he took a sucker punch from Derek Forbort in a game and left that game, but then played in another game and practice and then left practice early this week. So I don't think that's anything that's going to keep him out long term, but they sure would like to have both of those guys for tonight's game and tomorrow's and Saturdays as they start the season with 3 and 3.5.
Yeah, well, Pospisil is one of the better agitating players in the NHL. Like, there's a lot of guys who hate him. So, he plays that style every now and then. He's going to get hit like that. But you play that way, you know what? There's lots of value to a team when you have someone. Because I think if you play that way, it naturally increases the emotion on your own bench.
It sure does. The thing with Pospisil is he has to stay out of the penalty box, which at times he's had a difficult time doing. But he is certainly a guy who plays with pace, and that's something that head coach Ryan Huska has been harping on to his team about. They've got to up their pace. I guess it's hard when you have veterans who are only playing in 1 or 2 preseason games, but the head coach certainly didn't feel like the pace was where it needed to be. And Pospisil is certainly a guy who can play the game with pace and get in there in the forecheck and bang and crash. And as you mentioned, agitate. He is definitely one of the best at that in the league, and probably one of the reasons why he got sucker punched by Derek Forbort. So they'll miss that. He's a guy who can certainly make the opponent's defensemen pay when they go back to get pucks and can force them to look over both shoulders, wondering whether or not he's coming at them. And Jonathan Huberdeau, the Flames are missing one of their top players from last season. And I know that he had a couple of tough seasons to start his tenure in Calgary, but he told me on a number of occasions last year that he felt like he was playing his best 200-foot hockey. He was productive both in goals and points, and a guy who the Flames leaned on in all situations, 5-on-5, obviously, power play, obviously, but he was an important part of their penalty kill, which was really good down the stretch. So they're certainly going to miss those two guys tonight, and hopefully they'll be back sometime soon.
Is the reason Sharon Govich is on the fourth line is because he's not playing with pace?
No, I don't really know where he slots.
Okay.
He is a guy who scored 31 goals and broke the NHL record for most goals and points in a season by a Belarusian a couple of years ago. And they got the big contract extension. And last year, he was injured in the third period of the final preseason game. He missed the first 7 regular season games. And quite frankly, he just didn't look like the same guy. And I don't know if that's a valid excuse, but he just couldn't seem to kind of catch up to the league last season. Did play better down the stretch, started to put the puck in the net, so that was promising. But the Flames aren't a team like the Oilers, where they've got franchise players, generational players. They're hoping they've got a franchise goaltender in Dustin Wolf. But when you look at their group of forwards and defensemen, they don't have one of those generational guys. So they win by rolling 4 lines and 3 pairings and by getting good goaltending. And when you look at how they've structured their lines for tonight's game against the Oilers, that's exactly what I think they're going for. I think they're going for balance, and they're going to try to win this game with their depth. Sharon Govich, for me, isn't a fit on the fourth line long term, but right now, there doesn't seem to be an obvious spot for him. For me, he's a middle 6 guy. If he goes back to being the guy he was a couple of years ago, maybe he plays on the right side of a line with Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau when he's healthy, but a guy who has to get back to where he was and has to play with pace and has to be competitive out there. and he has to do it consistently. And he's earning a lot of money, so the Flames are certainly hoping he'll be that guy again this season.
Derek Willis joins us. Zane Parek's not playing tonight, and you know what? The coach kind of outlined, hey, you know what? It's just, you're probably not going to go against McDavid and Draisaitl. You're on the road, and of course, Knoblauch would try to get that matchup as much as he could, so I understand it. Zane Parek is a really good offensive player. There's no debate on that. He's dynamite offensively, Derek, but you still got to play some defense, and he's young. He's 19. Like, I'm not a big believer that it's a teenager league. Where do you think Parek's going to be? Like, is he going to play 9-10 games spread out over time and then ultimately go to the World Juniors and then back to junior? Or do you think there's a chance he could stay in Calgary all season?
Yeah, I don't think he's going back to junior. I mean, I'm not sure what is left for him to prove at that level. He has won a Memorial Cup. Led the CHL in goals by defenseman with 33, became just the second defenseman in OHL history to record back-to-back 30-goal seasons. The only other guy to do it, you may have heard of him, Bobby Orr. Led the CHL in points by defenseman with 107 last season. Became the 10th defenseman in OHL history and first since Ryan Ellis back in 2010, 2011 to hit the 100-point plateau. Zane Parek has to turn pro, at least in my opinion. And I suppose if the 9-game sample size doesn't look good, they could send him back to the Saginaw Spirit. A better option would be, and it's not an option, a better option would be the American Hockey League, but that is not an option until next season. So I think he's going to be with the team unless it's an unmitigated disaster. But even though I know there are a lot of Flames fans that are up in arms that he's not going to play in the season opener against the Oilers tonight, to your point, is putting him in the lineup on the road in Edmonton against an Oilers team that's gone to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals and has arguably the top two players in the game in Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who, oh, by the way, are going to be on the same line tonight. Is that putting Zane Parek in a position to succeed? I don't think that it is. And he had a good preseason, the first 3 quarters of it at least. The last couple of games he played in, you could see some deficiencies defensively, and you could tell that he was maybe struggling to make the right decisions. He's a really smart player. He's got a high hockey IQ. He's got an incredible skill set. The Flames don't have another player like Zane Parek, but I think easing him in is the right thing to do. You don't want to crush the kid's confidence by putting him out there and him getting stuck on the ice for long shifts against McDavid and Draisaitl. I know Flames fans are anxious to see him. He looked really good in his NHL debut, playing in a meaningless game against the Kings in Game 82 last season. And that certainly whet the palate for Flames fans, but they won't have to wait long to see him. If he doesn't play tomorrow against the Canucks, I'm pretty sure he'll play Saturday in the home opener against the Blues. And then it's up to Zane Parek. It's going to be a steep learning curve for him. He can help them on the power play. There's no doubt about that. But in the defensive zone, there will be some things to learn. It's not an easy league to play in as a teenager, especially when you're playing defense. So there will be some ups and downs, but he is certainly the team's most exciting prospect since Matthew Tkachuk, and looking forward to seeing him in game action soon.
Derek, you look at the Flames defense tonight. Which pairing do you see as the one they'd like to get out the most against McDavid and Draisaitl?
Well, I asked Ryan Husky that question this morning. I think he's very comfortable with his top 4. So you've got a pairing with Kevin Ball and Rasmus Andersson, and a pairing with Joel Hanley and Mackenzie Weegar. 1A, 1B pairings. Really tough to tell. But he is comfortable with either of those pairings against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. As for forward lines, I really think that he'd like to get Michael Backlund and Blake Coleman. And they've got Connor Zary on their wing. But that's been a good matchup for the Flames in the past. So it'll be difficult to get good matchups tonight because Chris Knoblauch has last change. But if Ryan Huska can manage those matchups, I think those are the players he'd like to see out against those two guys.
Derek, when you look at the Flames last year, 96 points, obviously really good season. I think it's the most points to miss the playoffs in the cap era, which sucks for Calgary. But they didn't score a lot last year. Where's the offense going to come from? Who has to step up? And who do you think's realistically capable to step up and get more offense from this group?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that I think we're all asking. I actually asked Ryan Huska a loaded question when we chatted with the Flames head coach this morning. I asked him what keeps him up at night, expecting him to say that, scoring. He didn't. He said a lot of things keep him up at night, but scoring enough goals to win games is certainly got to be one of them. For me, there are four guys who can help the Flames take another step offensively. First and foremost would be Connor Halley. So I know the numbers don't look great. He had 27 points in 54 games last season. But in my opinion, guys, he was as dynamic offensively as anybody on the team prior to the first knee injury. And then he rehabs, comes back, and doesn't last long. He suffers a second knee injury, both kind of freak injuries. So I wouldn't call him injury prone. And we'll see if he can stay healthy this season. But he's a guy who, to me, if he does stay healthy, will take another step and will help this team score some more goals. And then there's Yegor Sharangovich. We talked about him a little bit earlier on. You know, if he can get back to being even a 20-goal guy or a 25-goal guy, and he's got that in him, he's got a lethal shot, that helps him score more goals. And then there are the two players who they acquired from the Flyers last season. And Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, they wouldn't come right out and say it, but reading between the lines, it wasn't tough to do that. John Tortorella killed their confidence.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they came to Calgary and were excited to get a fresh start. And you know how it is when you get traded in the middle of the season. Everything's up in the air, professionally, personally. So now that they've settled into the city and feel comfortable with the Flames organization, I think both of those guys could have bounce-back seasons. Frost finished tied for the NHL lead in preseason points, so that's got to help build his confidence. And Ryan Huska thought Joel Farabee played really, really well in the preseason. So there are four guys who I think can help the Flames score some more goals. I think they could also use some more offense from their defense. And it's a big season for Rasmus Andersson. He is a pending UFA. He wants to play for Sweden at the Olympics. He will likely get traded at some point, but he is all in on this Flames team until he does get dealt, if he does get dealt. And unless they can sign him to a long-term contract extension, he will definitely get dealt before the trade deadline. But he's got a great shot. He scored 11 goals last year. I think he actually has more in him. So there are five guys that can help them score some more goals, and they're going to have to. They can't lean as heavily on their goaltenders this season as they did last season. Maybe Dustin Wolf, but they're not as confident in their backup in Devin Cooley, at least to start the season.
Derek, enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the season, man. You jump right into it. Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday is a play-by-play guy. So mix in some hot tea to be ready to roll.
Well, we called those 2 rookie games and then 7 preseason games. So the vocal cords are warmed up and ready to go. And I must say, I'm so excited that we've got a minimum of 4 meaningful games between the Flames and the Oilers this season. The fact that the two teams played 3 times in 2 of the 3 years since they met in the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time in more than 3 decades is ridiculous. Yes. It should never happen. There should be a minimum of 4 battles of Alberta every regular season. And I know we're not even into game 1 of 82 yet, but my fingers are crossed for another playoff series between the two. Wouldn't that be something?
Buddy, the Battle of Alberta in the playoffs, 100%.
Yeah,
it'd be
pump
fantastic.
it into my veins.
Yes, be all over it. Would be fun. awesome, Derek. Thanks for your time.
All right, guys, enjoy the game.
There you go. That's Derek Willis joining us from Calgary. So the Flames got a little bit of injury, probably. Yeah, that Huberdeau play didn't. I don't know if you saw the highlight of it, but it wasn't great. Basically, face planted right with the goalie, so he's out. They're not saying what it is, but as Derek said, probably a concussion. Pospisil's, he plays a style that's gonna lead to him every now and then, taking a few shots the way he took. So he's out. That's 2 forwards. So they got some young guys. Now, the Oilers don't have Hyman. They don't have Wallman. They don't have Janmark. So they got 5 guys, really. Now, Matt Savoy, rookie. Ike Howard, rookie. You look at Tomasic, not a rookie by NHL standards, but rookie in his game. And they also have Regula. Now, Regula also, I think, would qualify under the rookie category because he hasn't played more. I have to double check to see if he's no, he hasn't played more than 6 games in 2 previous years. So he's also a rookie. Awesome. We'll come back, wrap things up. It's the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, presented by playalberta.ca.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby.
Vancouver's #1.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris-Schweiner. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree
Wilhauk beef jerky is the best.
it might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhauk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win friends with salad.
For supplements verified clean and non-GMO, look for the Ishura symbol at Vitality Health Foods on products like Regenerlife NMN Surge, a healthy aging product used to rejuvenate cellular health. Shop with confidence at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores close Friday to lower prices, then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals. The first 10 customers get $50 to spend on anything in store. Score free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, buy any TV or appliance and get a $50 credit to spend on furniture, decor, or mattresses. And take 5 years, pay with 0 interest on your Flexity card. OAC terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
At Fountain Tire, we're fluent in saving you money. Fluent? Yes, we've mastered the language of deals. Like right now, you can save up to 25% off select tires and up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. Plus, $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires. All until October 18th.
I'm sorry, I don't speak deals.
Spend less, save more when you buy Round Black things from us.
Oh, got it.
Restrictions apply. Book your appointment online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank, plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products, 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
Groceries, mortgage payments, family holidays, a new car. That's what profit shares look like for Vision Credit Union members. Each year, we return about 75% of our profits, $35 million last year, to the people who bank with us. Because at Vision Credit Union, when you're an owner, you get your share. Why not get yours? Learn how at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? By Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
How about this? Vladdy Guerrero, welcome back. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. He has 9 RBIs in the team's first 4 playoff games of a postseason since the RBIs came official in 1920. So that's tied for the most. But his 9 hits is the most of those 12 players. So not only is he hitting, he's getting RBIs. He's got 3 home runs and another RBI. And the Jays are leading 1-0 through 2.5 innings as we are going to the bottom of the 3rd in New York. If you are interested, maybe you're going to get home, watch that game before the Oilers game. So don't worry, that game should be over. Oilers puck drop might actually be 8-16 tonight, not 8-18, if we're going to be very specific. So there you go. But just make sure you're downstairs or wherever you watch it. Maybe you're in wherever you have your fan cave, your watch room, 8:15. You won't miss anything there. Unless you want to watch some pregame stuff, then away you go. Now, let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit or furnace. LegacyHeating.ca.
There's a lot of sports news today we could debate at length. The Toronto Blue Jays, for one, saw their grand October plans crumble. A 6-1 lead swallowed by the Hudson River last night against the New York Yankees. Game 4, no one in Toronto wanted to see that act. The Edmonton Oilers, too, step into opening night with their rivals from Calgary, always fiery, always fierce. And the Oil Kings, with the enthusiasm of youth, take their impressive 5-1 record into Medicine Hat. But today, perhaps Edmonton's most meaningful sports story won't be measured in box scores. It will not alter a league standing, nor create headlines on a ticker tape. Instead, it will lift spirits. Keep hope alive. It will remind us that sport is more than goals or wins. It is about community and about stepping forward when others falter. The Alberta teachers' strike has left young student athletes stranded. Football players, volleyball setters, soccer dreamers, left with fields gone silent, and seasons, frankly, held hostage. For teenagers, those days feel longer, the absence heavier than we sometimes imagine. That's where the Edmonton Elks chose to act. Instead of watching from the sidelines, they opened their doors. Ryan Brower, the Elks community coordinator, put out the call. Come practice, come play, keep your game alive. On Commonwealth Stadium, the response was overwhelming. 125 spots filled almost instantly, with another 90 young athletes waiting patiently for their chance. That isn't just demand, it's testimony to how badly these kids want to belong, to stay connected, to keep moving forward. What the Elks have done here matters. They've given more than field time. They've given reassurance. They've told young athletes that their dreams aren't canceled, that their momentum doesn't have to vanish in the shadow of a strike. So yes, we can argue Blue Jays and Oilers and Oil Kings all we want, but the story worth carrying home tonight is this: a professional football team, battered but resilient, extending its hand to the next generation and proving that in Edmonton, sport isn't just about winning. It's about keeping the light on for tomorrow. 2-minute warning weekdays. Gregor Halley, Tate Sports, 1440.
Oh, I like it. Good stuff, Tater. Really good stuff. You got Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson coming up in the pregame show next. Enjoy that. They'll take you right to the Oilers game. They'll update you on the Jays throughout. So you get a double header of Jays and all the Oiler talk and Flames talk that you want. On behalf of Connor and Declan, I'm Jason Gregor. Enjoy the night. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Buick GMC. This month, Northgate is helping feed families. They had a goal of 500, so they extended it for 1 month. For every truck sold, they'll feed a family of 4 this month. Northgate, this truck's for you. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Okay, so you may see the Edmonton Oilers defenseman Matthias Ekholm reaching an extension, 3 years, $12 million. The 35-year-old heading into his 15th NHL season in 4th with the Oil. Edmonton in action, kicking off their season with the Flames tonight down at Rogers Place. That gets going at 8. Our pregame coverage coming up next with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro. Elsewhere, you got the Maple Leafs and Canadiens tied at 1 apiece. Just about to wrap up the first period, and midway through the first, Caps and Bruins scoreless. Later tonight, Kings look to pick up their first win of the season as they're in Vegas. In the majors right now, Blue Jays lead the Yankees 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Elsewhere, Cubbies up on the Brewers 4-3, top of the eighth. No outs, runner on second for Milwaukee. And earlier today, the Tigers kept their series with the Mariners going with a 9-3 victory. Only one other game tonight. Dodgers, Phillies, that gets going just after 7 o'clock. And it is game 3 of the WNBA Finals. Mercury taking on the Aces in about 10 minutes' time. Vegas up 2-9. That'll do it for us here on The Gregor Show. Up next, pregame coverage with Andrew Walker. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.